Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome. It is Foxhole Friday, and we are here. I'm very, very lucky to be here with somebody who is amazing and is wonderful and is one of the best players that I know to play with and who I adore. The one and the only, I cannot introduce him just yet. Because I feel like I have to say nicer things first. Who I first saw playing in Death from Above and as a guest on Hyper RPG, and just generally did some amazing stuff, and was the very first person who said yes to be a player in a game that I ran online, and that was Cthulhu Confidential. So many years ago, my very first. And so somebody who I always am going to ask to play something kind of strange, sort of thoughtful, where you really have to sort of like have that kind of interesting mind. And this is a game where you need an interesting mind, absolutely 100%. We're playing today a game called Death of the Author by Sam Lee, and it is an indie RPG made for a one-shot. They say it can be played in 2 to 4 hours. We'll see. And it is a game wherein a character tries to resist the designs of the author. If you've ever... I don't know if you've ever played a TTRPG where you have a character and you want your character to do various things, and it turns out your character does not want to do those things, and you're like, come on, character, get with the program, do those things, and the character resists. This game is all about that. It's about a character who tries to resist the will of the author, and the author who decides to not give that character any agency. It uses tarot rather than dice, and we're using the very, very cool Art Deco, Art Nouveau 1970 Aquarian tarot deck to inspire us. And I'm more excited than you can ever know to play this game with somebody who I adore, Markus. Markus, who are you? Give us a shout out, if you would.
Hello, I am Markus. You can find me on social media at like Best Kind of Worst on multiple places, or wherever you maybe found this tagged on Bluesky. I made that at a convention about 3 years ago when I was given a code. So I don't know what my account name is every time I see a tag in it. I'm like, oh, cool. I forgot about that. Keep it up. Bluesky is a good, nice, safe place to be. Go have fun over there. I will follow. I'll find you. Find me there. I don't know what to say, but I have a really important question. Actually, this is how I'm going to choose to introduce myself, because this is a good icebreaker for me. We have author and we have character, but I kind of want to do a different kind of choosing first. So Trooper, would you indulge me in a little game I like to play?
Of course.
Awesome. Okay, so I found these two amazing cups at a Daiso. Daiso is kind of like this small store, lots of goods there, lots of very good random things. But are you a little angel or a lovely cat? These are the two options I have to ask anyone I encounter, if possible.
Oh.
The pictures may influence you, but before you answer, I want you to take some time. I need you to answer in their own language, using the language of them. So you have to either say bark bark for little angel or meow for lovely cat. So do you have I know what I am, but I'm curious what you are today. And it's daily too. It's daily.
Why do you want to ask me the most difficult question that gives me a crisis of self? Like, what's up with that? I know. So here's the thing. I tend to think of myself as a cat, cool, independent, doing my thing. Yeah, you know? Yeah. But as opposed to a dog who cannot go to the bathroom by themselves. And is surrounded by people who like dogs in kind of weird ways, Like, oh, I love dogs because they're completely dependent on me in all ways and can't do anything without me. I love that. Like, they're trapped here. So that makes me feel uncomfortable. But I feel like recently I was going through a whole thing where I was like, oh no, I think I might be like a dog. That would be the worst. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to say...
Okay. Oh, Okay, there we go. That's a hearty bark for a little angel. You heard it here first, Foxholians, which is maybe not what they're called.
Battle
Trooper
buddies?
is a battle buddies, way better than Foxholians, I think. Everyone,
I don't know, though.
Trooper is a little angel on this beautiful Friday. You know what, Trooper? By the way, so am I. Bark, bark.
Oh, nice. By the way, I don't like you because you're completely and wholly dependent on me, and I have no other friends. I like you because you're cool. just so you know.
Good to be clear. Clarity is very important, especially in this day and age. Let's be very clear.
So now that we're does that means I don't think we've finished I don't think we've decided then who's going to be the author and who's going to be the character yet, right?
No, we did not.
Oh, okay. So here's how we do it. We're going to go and ask chat because I feel like chat are full of shenanigans and they should make this decision. That's what I think should happen.
That sounds fair to me. That removes all responsibility from our parties. I like that. Let's go.
I also pressed the wrong button. I pressed the wrong button. I pressed the button that gives you the ad for some seconds. So what we need to do is vamp, because if there's anybody here who's not subscribed, they're getting an ad right now. All the other folks are seeing us, but the people who are
just give the ad to Taco Bell. Check out your $5.99 taco box. Get your extra cheese, chicken, whatever we put in there. It's all yours. Come on down to the bell.
Okay, I have a question about Taco Bell.
Yeah, go ahead. That's why I'm here.
Great. Taco Bell has a meat hose that they use to put in the tacos and the burritos and whatnot. Yeah, what's up with that?
Well, that feels kind of like the height of civilization in a disgusting way, where like our meat now comes in some kind of hose. Actually, maybe we should just all agree hosed meat ain't as bad as we think. I'm not even here. I'm not even here for I'm not even playing devil's advocate. I'm playing like whatever's whatever. This is nothing. Right. Tube full of meat, tube full of cream cheese. I don't even eat that much meat, but that sounds like a very practical way to keep your meat, because that's not real. It's like it's some variant of byproduct of food. So, and I like the taste of it. I'm not knocking that byproduct of food. Sure. Meat tubes. I have some thoughts. I could talk about meat tubes for like 6 hours. Maybe you shouldn't have asked me this question.
Or I should have. I will say this though. There was this moment when Taco Bell made some choices, and those choices made me sad.
Okay, I need to know.
They got rid of the Mexican pizza for like a hot minute.
Yeah,
and I was like, why would you do that? Yeah, I was like, why would you do that? Why? I was very sad, and I didn't like it.
Did they ever bring it back?
They did. So everything's okay now.
But maybe the damage was done. It was a little too late for you too. Like that, like your heart had already been hurt. Why would you allow yourself to be hurt before? I guess.
It's just that Mexican pizza's so good.
It is.
I mean, it's my favorite thing that they have there in the Taco Bell, because it's just so delicious. I mean, is it a pizza? No. Is it Mexican? Also no. But is it delicious?
But it's something.
Yes.
It's something tasty, and that's what we go there for. We don't go to Taco Bell for authenticity. We go because we're out of options and we want flavor. That's what we do. There's the one thing that I wish Taco Bell, I don't know if I always think about this. I don't know if I wish Taco Bell did it or not, but like tortas, I love tortas. Like there's just one of my favorite foods, Mexican foods in general. But like, I'm like, do I want Taco Bell to touch that? Or do I want to just walk 10 feet across the street to the nice truck? Anyway, I'm thinking about food now. I'm really thinking about Mexican food.
So I'm making the poll right now because we're going to have chat decide who's going to be the author in this 2-player shenanigans.
Brought to you by Taco Bell.
Brought to you by Taco Bell. And here's the thing. I watched this thing on YouTube. They've got those things where they have people react to various other things,
Oh, yeah.
And this one was so exciting. We're going to give them 3 minutes because we're going to chat. We'll give them 2 minutes. 2 minutes. There you go. Poll is up. So it was this thing where they had these people coming in to taste stuff, or they do this thing all the time, right? Like Italian grandmothers eat Olive Garden, that sort of a thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they had Mexican people try Taco Bell and Chinese people try Panda Express. And here's what was super interesting. So for both of them, unlike the Italian grandmothers, with this one, the Italian grandmothers were like Italian American grandmothers. But for both the Taco Bell and the Panda Express, what you had were people who were basically the parents of these young people, and the parents were from the country of origin, and their kids were basically there to do translations. And both videos had the exact same thing happen, which I thought was so interesting. And that was the kids would try the Taco Bell and the Panda Express, and they would go on about how terrible it was and how inauthentic it was and how it was the worst, no one should ever eat it, and so on and so on. And the parents are like, no, that's fine. I'd eat that. That one's pretty good. I like that one. And like, they're like, oh yeah, that one actually, there's something that's kind of like that. For Panda Express, they're like, oh yeah, this General Gao's chicken, no. Actually, in one part of China, there's something that kind of tastes like this. Yeah, fine, it's a little bit sweeter, but it's good. And like the parents were just not as pressed about the Taco Bell or the Panda Express. They're like, that's fine. Like, I don't like that one, but I like that one. That's cool. Or the kids were very, very distressed. I thought that was so interesting.
That is fascinating how we think about food too. A lot of the times.
Yeah.
And like, I wish they would have said, now that food that you tasted, does it change you? Does it color your judgment, knowing that it came from a hose that was of meat? Maybe that's what they should have asked. That would have made it a little bit more of an authentic quiz for me, like a real kind of maybe even a gotcha with the meat hose.
You know, it actually kind of looks like a caulking gun.
I was literally looking up pictures. It looks like a caulking gun.
It does. Okay, everyone, I just want everyone to know it is unanimous. Unanimous. Marcus, you're the author.
Okay. This is great because I am gonna author the hell out of this.
Okay, so we're gonna start this. We're gonna start this excitement. By the way, I'm so excited. We're going to have author whose producer Marcus is going to be producing this story. And I am more excited than you can know about it. So in this game, we're going to have an author who's going to create a story with a main character. And the first thing that we do, and I'm going to take us over to our map view, if that actually works. Haha, it does. We'll get there. So, our author, who is Marcus, is going to start making the book. We have an arcana, we have a tarot deck with separated the major arcana, and then also the pentacles, the swords, the cups, and the rods. We also have a special little coin I made to let us know whether something is reversed or not. So, Marcus, you have to begin. What I need you to do is to draw face down a card for the self, for the friend, and for the foe. You have to create the characters in this story.
Okay, so I'll be picking the first card, which will go forward to create your character. Then the second one to the friend, and the third to the foe. Does it matter which of these tarot cards I pull from? Does that have to be from a specific deck?
It does. It has to be the major arcana, which is the one without anything on the back.
Yes.
The top one.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. First card. Actually, I'm throwing this one. Throwing a wrench into the system. That one doesn't go to the self first. The first one goes there. I'm just throwing these around.
All right.
This is
fine.
This is fine. This is what it would look like if I actually wrote a book. Okay.
Okay.
And do I do the author's note as well, or
Not
do I
yet.
save that?
You save it. You save it. So
that's right. I remember. I read this thing twice.
Would you indulge me for a moment?
Absolutely. I would love to indulge you for a moment, Trooper.
Before you turn over these cards and decide who the characters are in your story, for me, could you describe where you are and what you look like? Could you tell me something about just like what I would see looking at you if I were to see you? Like, where are you writing? What do you look like? Can you tell me something about you as the author? Also, by the way, draw 3 coins and put one on each of the cards so we know if it's upright or reversed.
That one, all one's up, 2 reversed, 1 upright. Okay, that's good. That's interesting. So
Mm-hmm,
the
mm-hmm,
author, let me think for a second. I would imagine he's also sitting in a smaller room than I am, with the
mm,
same coffee pot. This
yeah.
little golden polka dotted coffee pot, teapot. Maybe having some lemon ginger tea.
Mm,
Small room, the windows open. It's a bit cold, but he likes it cold, so he put on a big jacket. Writing on a MacBook with
mm,
stickers
mm,
on it that don't really resemble something, with stickers on it that you wouldn't think from looking at him
mm,
he would have on his laptop. I don't know what that means yet. I'm thinking
mm,
about it.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay. How old is the author?
42.
42. Mm, meaning of life. If you don't mind, I'm going to just take some notes just in case, because,
Sounds good.
as the character, I have to get all the evidence, the ammunition that I can, you know, to protect myself. So, dearest author, it is up to you to make the characters the protagonist, the friend, and the foe. If you'd flip over the first card.
Okay. Flipping the card now. The first card we have is Moon, the Moon.
The moon. The moon in reversal. So, dear friends, and I'm going to just let everybody see the moon really nicely because it's this, really lovely 1970 tarot deck that's
Beautiful.
quite famous. Love it, love it. So we also have, because I am a little bit extra, a book by a person who is psychic. It's meant to let you get in touch with your chakras and let you get to really know how to open your third eye and become psychic. And the book is like from the early 80s. And it's one of the only books that talks about how to read tarot that uses this particular tarot deck as its examples. So it gives us some information about these cards and the major arcana. The moon is on page
57.
57. What is the meaning of the moon reversed to give you some inspiration?
For reversed, it is clarity, control, and peace after a difficult period. Heightened psychic abilities, overcoming temptations, trivial problems, and a minor setback. Or minor
Okay.
setbacks.
Okay. So let me ask you then, could you create the main character of this story that you're writing?
Okay.
And I will take notes for you.
This is a character who has had temptations surround them their entire life. Not necessarily towards them, but they have, for lack of a better phrase, addiction runs deep with them.
Mm-hmm.
It's never been necessarily a problem for them, but a lot of problems for people around them. They tend to feel more empathetic towards others, but little problems and, like it says, minor setbacks tend to get in the way of their actual growth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What is their name?
Rolf.
Rolf.
Ralph. No, Ralph. It's Ralph. It's Ralph. Ralph. Let's
With
go
an
with
F or a
Ralph.
PH?
With an F.
What do they do? Tell me something more about them,
Let's
i.e.,
see.
me.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know the age yet. I'm trying to think of like an age range for them. I feel like they are working. They work in service, either at a restaurant or a cafe.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a restaurant, it's definitely one of the ones that's only open from 5 until a little bit later. They like working a little bit later in the night because it keeps them out of trouble.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's find out who their friend is.
Yes.
Who is lover, family member, other ally, something like this.
Let us flip the card. Oh,
Ooh.
we got the sun and the moon.
Okay. Well
What luck
then.
we have. And it's a reversed moon or reversed
Uh-huh.
sun. So
Okay.
reverse means unhappiness, loneliness, depression, possibly from the loss of a relationship, uncertainty,
Mm.
failure, loss in a business situation. Note the reverse meaning can range from a weaker version of the upright to a false sense of happiness to unhappiness, depending on the surrounding cards and interpretation.
Mm.
There's quite a bit to this one. This one has a lot of text to it. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, this is okay. This is a lot to go with.
Okay.
Okay, let me think. And the friend can be. I'm real quick looking at the prompt for the friend's cards.
A lover, family member, or other ally.
Okay, perfect.
That's very interesting.
I think this is. I feel like this is the sister.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is a sister of Ralph.
Mm-hmm. Say more.
I think she takes, as far as like the characterization wise, she takes a lot of the stuff that Rolf does deal with. She deals with as well, but she winds up taking a lot of the unhappiness symptoms that wash off of him. He could
Mm-hmm.
get past it. This is what he does.
Mm-hmm.
He's just kind of gotten used to this. With her, this whole thing is far more challenging. She wears it on her sleeve. She can't
Mm-hmm.
she can't really hide when she feels these feelings or she's nervous about this stuff the way Ralph
Mm-hmm.
either learned to or figured he had to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Whether
Mm-hmm.
that's a luxury on her part to be able to share that, whether that's how he sees it,
Mm-hmm.
or whether that's, I don't know if he appreciates that about her, that she has that freedom to feel that, or if he looks down on her because she can't. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What is her name?
Noelle.
Noelle. What does she do?
She does tarot readings.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Okay.
didn't just say that because there's tarot cards in front of me.
No. I believe you.
That's actually the reason why I did say that, but I like that idea. So,
How about our foe?
our foe. Okay. It is a
Mm-hmm.
7-foot tall killer vampire whale. Oh, I flipped it. I flipped it over again. I flipped too much. The
The
hermit. Okay.
hermit.
And
Okay.
this is an up. It's an up on the hermit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
It's
I'm
9.
gonna try to find that
48.
on page 48.
Hmm.
Okay. So the meaning of the hermit is a period of withdrawal and caution to reevaluate and gather inner strength, meditation, deep reflection that provides insight, wisdom, and inspiration, need for understanding and advice, can indicate meeting a wise man who offers good counsel. Okay.
But this is our foe,
This is
our
our foe.
antagonist.
So
Mm-hmm.
how specific yeah, no, because we need to get in here. So I think I kind of like the idea of this person in I guess in Ralph's life, the main character's life. Um, this person that had to or chose to or isolated and withdrew from a situation, which would be
Mm-hmm.
hurtful to these characters. So my my thinking is this is the mother,
Mm-hmm.
whether
Mm-hmm.
through getting help or just getting away from her children, chose to
Mm-hmm.
withdraw from the situation, making that whether it, I mean, if it's not reversed, I mean, I don't know how much we need to go into specifics. Like if it's not being reversed, that seems like actually an intent to get clean in some way, or to put life together.
Yeah.
That then was, that then was like,
Yeah.
still, how when you heal from things, you don't always want to go
Yeah.
back to the things that were hard, even if it's the right thing to do. So
Yeah.
that again, that might be looking into it too early. I don't know how the depth of which we should go into some of this stuff, or if we should just let it develop over time. I'm just saying things that come to my mind.
And what is her name?
Margot.
Okay. With a T?
Yeah, I'm thinking of Margot Martindale for some
Nice.
reason.
Yeah.
She's a great actress. I don't know.
So I, as the character, get to add one detail to each of these spreads. Ralph is a singer-songwriter, guitar player. Hasn't made it yet, but hasn't given up the dream. We'll say like a struggling singer-songwriter. And you know the type, right? Kind of when people who don't know Ralph see Ralph, they think Ralph is like cool, right? He's probably got like, sort of slightly emo hair and dresses sort of like an alternative way. It has got that kind of air about him that if you don't know better, you think, oh, how cool. But if you do know better, you're like, ooh, bit of a mess there.
Okay.
Noelle. Okay. Tarot reader, right? She
Correct.
reads tarot on Venice Beach because this is set in LA, but LA in like the 70s or 80s, right? Probably sometime around there, where it's still a little bit grungy, not gentrified. Neither one of these people live in Venice, right? Although actually Venice at that time was pretty grungy, so it would be fine. She reads tarot on Venice Beach, and is the main breadwinner for the family.
Ooh. Like that.
And Margot, the mother. Let's see, what else do we know about her? The detail. Go ahead, please. Please.
No, I think one thing she went across. It was something she went across the country. So whatever that was, it was definitely if this takes place in Los Angeles or in the West Coast, then she went to the East Coast, or she went somewhere to Florida, somewhere away, like the farthest possible away while still being in the country.
Yeah. Let's say to Florida, in honor of Laugh Live Lindy. And I think the detail I want to add is sort of inspired a little bit by Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, Ellen Burstyn, that she, let's put this in the 80s, somewhere like early 80s, where it's still, the 70s are still vibing, waitress and divorced. I don't think the family is actually from California. I think they actually were probably from Florida, right? Moved out here after a terrible divorce. She works as a waitress, got into cocaine. It all sort of basically fell apart in some really awful way. And she left. I'm going to say that Ralph is older than Noelle. And she left when Ralph was like 16 and Noelle was probably like 13, 14. So she just like up and left, went back to Florida, and leaving them right on their own from around that age. Waitress. We're going to say cocaine. And we're going to say left when Rolf was 16? 17,
Yeah.
16, 16.
Let's go 16.
And Noel was, say, 14.
Yeah, keep them close in age. That's good. That keeps them
Yeah.
tight.
Yeah, that keeps them really tight. Okay. So this is our spread. We cannot yet start the game. Before we start the game, I'm Ralph. The author has to leave a message for me. So, if you would, draw another major arcana card and a coin to let us know if it's upright or reversed.
Okay, let's see. Oh, it's reversed, whatever it is.
Okay.
Okay, let's flip the card.
It is
the Tower.
Okay.
Okay, so
this is a message you're going to give to me. I'm ready.
Okay,
16.
so I give you a message based on the interpretation of the Tower.
Mm-hmm.
And so now this is just me asking a clarification question. How like direct does it have to be? Does it have to be like is it better if it's more vague so you know my intentions, or is it?
It's up to you. You are the author writing this story. You know what I mean?
Oh,
and you are, you're sending out a message to the main character, I guess. You may not realize, at this point in time, you don't realize that I have sentience. But you're going to send me a message.
Okay. So let me read this reversed. Well, that's what you see.
Wait. Read the prompt out to the audience so they know, because they don't know yet.
Okay. The we have, so this is a little bit, I'm going to read both versions of this because it's important to understand the reverse meaning as well. The meaning is a sudden and unforeseen disruption, catastrophe, an abrupt change to one's life, usually regarded as leading to enlightenment and a new lifestyle, can indicate a severed relationship, divorce, failure in business, or a career or extensive financial loss. The reverse of this, though, is the same as above except less severe, oftentimes unnecessary and caused by one's self. Can denote lack of insight, avoiding change, thus perpetuating an oppressive condition. So I think this message, however it is received from this character, is they see it when their eyes are closed. They see this burning tower. I think that's it. So they're at work right now. Maybe they're in work a little bit early, at work somewhere. Maybe they're just somewhere where they feel safe and relaxed. They close their eyes, they doze off for a second, and they see a tower that they can tell is a tower, but it's definitely their childhood home or apartment burning. And they're just sitting there, standing in the street like a child. Maybe they were a child. They're sitting there. There's a small hand in his hand, but he can't look over at the face. His head's locked off directly at the tower. Smoke billowing out. Maybe he could see things moving in the windows. Maybe someone's still in there. I don't know. But the smoke is what wakes him up. The smell of the smoke. It doesn't smell right. It smells like something that he can't quite put his finger on.
So I now get to do something. I now must give my first impression of the author. I just got this strange vision. Strange, I haven't thought about that at all. And I don't think that came from me. Someone's writing my story, and this person had something terrible happen to them. I think they're think they're quite alone. They're trying to, I don't know, punish themselves, or maybe, I don't know what, but I think they're alone, and I think something really terrible happened to them when they were younger. That's my impression of the author. And I'm going to, if you don't mind,
Please, I'm just taking some notes.
Create my note up here. I think something terrible happened to the author as a child, and they are alone. That's my impression. That said, this card goes away, and we shuffle our major arcana, and we go to Chapter 1, the prologue. Dear Battle Buddies, let me tell you a little bit how there are 5 acts in this story. And in each of the first 4 acts, there are 3 scenes. And the author is going to draw a pentacle for each of these 3 scenes in the first act, which will give us prompts. And they're going to tell a story of me. But for each chapter, I have 1 reversal and 1 defiance. So I can reverse 1 card. If it is upright, I can make it reversed, or vice versa. Or I can defy a card. Each of the prompts has a section of the card that is underlined or in capital letters. And if I choose defiance, I can take out that 1 section and replace it with whatever I want. However, if I do those things, the author is going to become aware of the fact that the main character in their story is messing with their story. They're going to become aware that I have now become aware. So I have to be careful when I do this and how I do this. So, dear author, would you please draw 3 pentacles and the coins to go with them to set the scenes for Chapter 1, the prologue. Okay. So, scene 1. If you would.
Flip this. Okay.
The 7 of Pentacles reversed.
So
the prompt for this is you are at your sibling's side when they die. Dear author, this is the moment where I can choose to either reverse or defy. But if I do that, then I use up those abilities right now, and there's still 2 more scenes left in this chapter, which is the prologue to our story, by the way. So it's prologue, exposition. Chapter 2 is the exposition. Chapter 3 is the rising action. Chapter 4 is the climax. And then Chapter 5 is the resolution. So we're in the prologue of the story that our author is writing. I will not use my reversal or defiance just yet. So please write the scene. The first scene of your novel, your great American novel, I guess. If you wish, it says here, you may draw a major arcana card for additional inspiration, but that's up to you.
Oh, that's fun. That's kind of fun. Rolf held the little weightless hand in his hand. He was young. He didn't know much about it. one of the things you could remember was the old episode of Twilight Zone on in the hospital waiting room. It was the one with all the people in the trash can who were thrown out or something. He didn't understand, but one of the old makeup scared him. You remember being more scared about that than being in the hospital. You remember being more scared about that than he did what came later, obviously. But he sat there with his dad and his mom and his brother who wasn't. And that was kind of the first memory. It wasn't that impactful on him, but it made him stop believing in magic. Very young. He was very young, maybe 5. He even brought his little doctor's kit that he got, his little plastic doctor's kit, thinking that it would make it better. He had a lot of hope back then. Yeah.
I get to say what I think about this. It says, the character describes their thoughts on what just happened in the story. I was 5 when my brother died. He was my twin. And we were playing. All 3 of us, me, him, and my sister, we were playing outside. We lived in this sort of like kind of like a apartment court, this kind of court with a swimming pool on the inside. It was kind of dirty and messy, and I remember we were all playing out there, and my sister, I turned around and she wasn't there, and my brother and I were supposed to watch her, and she wasn't anywhere to be found. And so I went off to try to find her, and I was calling her name, and I finally found her. She was just like playing in the laundry room of the apartment complex. Mom and Dad weren't home. We were often left by ourselves. And when I came back with her back to where my brother was, he was in the pool. And he was drowning, but I didn't know how to swim. So I just screamed, I guess. I don't really remember exactly what happened after that. Somebody came, I think, and pulled him out, and then it's a hospital. But I don't know exactly why I'm thinking about him right now. Roger. I don't know why the author's making me think about Roger right now. But I suppose that's where all of this began. That was before the fire, though. Scene 2.
Excellent. Scene 2. This would be the 2 of Pentacles. Upright, you bear witness to an act of violence. Reversed, you bear witness to an alarming scandal.
I am going to reverse this. I will use my reversal.
Okay.
So that rather than an alarming scandal, an act of violence will be what I am witness to.
Okay.
And
Okay.
the scene is to you.
Okay, let me think. Let me look at this card.
Mm-hmm. Let the card give you inspiration, because it is, after all, from 1970.
There was one hot day you remember. You remember it. All the grills were going, so there was lots of food smells, lots of smoke, but not the kind that you're probably thinking of. Lots of good smells, food, lots of people. But your uncle, your uncle doesn't show up to a lot of these things, but he did this time. Known to get drunk, known to cause problems. At least this time it wasn't someone in your family. At one of these family events, I actually think it was a funeral, he got pretty drunk and started to beat up some guy who just walked a little too close to him. You were pretty young, but old enough to know that you don't just beat up on someone. This kid got his mouth busted up. This is the first time you've ever seen this much blood coming out of a human body that wasn't in a movie. Kid turned out fine. Your uncle wound up back in jail. But just the gleam of the saliva and the blood mixing together really sticks with you. Every time you go to the dentist, every time you floss, every time you brush your teeth, your gums bleed, you spit it out, and you think of that kid.
You need to pull a major arcana card because you now are aware of the fact that I've changed your story. And we need to find out how you respond to me.
Okay, so I take the major arcana card, and I put. Where do I put it?
In the little
section?
Yeah, right there.
Awesome.
Perfect. And great. A coin for it too.
By the way, great job at getting this set up. This looks beautiful, by the way.
Thank you. I spent too much time on it, but you know how it is.
Oh, you always do. You always make everything look so good.
One of these days, I feel like I should be a professional Roll20 game translator.
I actually think that that's a really good idea for you. Okay, so it's we have a reverse, and the option is the card we got is the world. Oh, I love this card. This card looks beautiful.
Oh yeah, let me make sure that everyone can see it. So this is you as the author sitting there in your small room, realize that your story has been changed by me, and this is going to inspire you to see how you respond to the change that I made in the story.
Yeah, so this is again. This might be a question. This is what makes this game a little less fun. Sorry, I just got a question about this. Yeah. This was the same. This was my thought about the mechanic, but I forgot to ask it. So when I am making adjustments to the world, I have the option here as the author to kind of shape the story a little bit. Are there any guides that I'm supposed to be in within? Like, are there anything that what can I tangibly do aside from just change the words that I say? Is there anything tangible, or is it just?
Well, one thing is that you know that you wanted to write that there would be a scandal.
Oh, yes.
Right? That's what you wanted to write. That's what you were planning to write, that there was going to be this scandal that that I witnessed. And I changed it so that's not what happened. And you know it. You, when you respond, cannot change what I did. But you can respond how you wish.
I want the character to feel what I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can, because I don't want to directly communicate with them, but I want them to feel the headache, the actual pain in my head. I want them to feel the pain in my back and my neck when I think about how stressed I am about this. I don't want them to know. I want them to feel the worst of this, the anxiety, the depression. I want them to feel a rush of that, like it's like a rain upon them for a minute, just a minute straight. I don't want too long, just enough to know that it's comfort that they're causing. I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. They feel unease.
Okay.
Their skin.
So I'm going to just add this here because I thought this was a really interesting example, and I thought it was sort of fun because I want our audience to know it as well. So in the example, the main character, Rio, the card that's drawn is that there'd be a war. Changes the character's home forever. And the character's like, I do not want war. So I'm going to reverse it instead, to get something that's not the war, that's like a natural disaster. And because, it says here, because Rio used his reversal, the author notices the deviation from the story and attempts to wrestle back some control. Alexi, who's the author, draws a card from the Major Arcana deck to see how the author responds to the change. She draws the star reversed. Alexi references an online tarot guide which says that the reverse version of the star could mean hopelessness, pessimism, or a test of faith. Thinking for a moment, she decides this means that Rio avoided a war by changing the story to create a natural disaster, but that the author twists this disaster into one that tests Rio's faith. And the author gets the story back on track, opens up her journal, and writes the following. Ever since Rio was a baby, his family had taken him on visits to the local shrine, the goddess of the harvest. Every day, a member of the family trekked then the 10 miles from the farm into town to offer Hebeta the juiciest glyph melons and tangleberries. But now, as Rio sits on the roof of the farmhouse, clutching his sobbing sister, he chokes back curses to the goddess. The Great Flood of Tuva, they'll call it. A rushing river over miles of land, swallowing home and cattle, drenching soil and drowning seeds. Which is worse, Rio wonders, Hebeta being a fabricated lie, or Hebeta hearing his family's prayers and choosing to reward them with destruction. He tightens his grip on his sister and screams a curse at the roaring water, not to his goddess, but to his author. 100 years of war would have been kinder.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so let me I like that, actually. That's a good example. There's a lot of good examples in this book.
Yeah.
So this is, I'm gonna pull up the prompt again for it.
Yeah. How do you twist me taking away the scandal and giving up by act of violence instead? The uncle's name is Jim, I think.
Jim. Big Jim.
Yeah. Big Jim.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I think then, so if the original was an act of violence that got switched to a scandal, or it was a scandal that got switched to an act of violence.
Yeah. In your story.
I'm having a hard time coming with anything as interesting as glyph melons and tangleberries, but I think it's like how I'm gonna, because I need to switch this to a line. Sorry.
So the world reversed is insecurity, fear of change, stagnation, failure to achieve goals, disappointment, regret, entanglement and confusion in one's life caused by excess focus on the physical plane.
Trying to figure out how to, it's not such an every thought I had is just kind of going to a dead end for me right now. Like I like the fact that
and you can tell me how I feel because you're the author. You get to write my interiority, and then I get to tell you what I think about it. But you know,
I think the difference of it being an act of violence instead of a scandal is actually more of a long-term detriment to the main character Ralph. Anyway. Like I think that the fact that I was going to cover up one of your painful memories is with a maybe just a false truth or something that just sounds believable. Instead, you get the real thing. So for him, I think though the witness of the act of violence has actually left him unable to consistently have strong relationships with any men in his life. That combined with the loss of his brother, there's no point in making those connections. So that's really as close as I can get to an idea. I'm sorry, I don't have much more for that right now.
Yeah. Well, I get to respond to what I think about what happened.
Yeah.
It's okay what happened there because I had to protect my mother from the scandal. I would rather Big Jim beats up that kid and I still see it now, then let him write down what he was going to write about my mother. I know that it was bad what happened, but it was just bad for me. It wasn't bad for, I mean, it was bad for that kid. And I guess it was bad for Big Jim, but Big Jim was always in and out of prison anyway, so. But I just wanted to, maybe if I was able to keep that scandal out of it, maybe my mom and my dad wouldn't get divorced. So I feel like I think it was worth it, what I did.
Excellent. Excellent. Taking those notes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the next card, the third
Scene 3.
Lip. Okay.
Mm.
Oh, it is the upright Page of Pentacles.
Okay.
The upright means you make a promise to your friend that you can't keep.
Well, I have a defiance left.
You sure do.
Which I will, by the way.
Yeah.
I will use my defiance.
And what does defiance do, Trooper?
I will tell you. So, hey, audience, I have made these really lovely tool tips, but only for the pentacles. I could not get them finished for the rest of them, but that's all right. There is a section of the prompt that is underlined, or in this case, bolded. And when I defy, I'm able to erase that section that is underlined or capitalized and replace it with anything that I want. So the upright is you make a promise to your friend, which is my sister Noelle, that you can't keep. And I get to erase that part that says you can't keep. And I get to replace it with anything that I want. And I'm going to replace that with, I make a promise to my friend, who's my sister. I make a promise to my sister Noelle that I will keep her safe. And I do.
Ooh.
Now, what was originally written was what you planned to write, but you can't write that. So you may pull the Major Arcana card to see how you respond to my meddling. Okay. And then you may write the scene.
We have the chariot.
Pull the coin to know if it's reversed or not.
Absolutely. It is not. It is an upright chariot, which is my favorite type of chariot because then you know it's going to go forward.
One hopes.
Okay.
So I've changed it. You meant to have me not keep a promise to my sister, but I defy you.
Yes. So the meaning of the chariot is a difficult situation that can be controlled and directed by understanding opposing forces and bringing about balance and harmony. Self-control, personal effort, perseverance, bring to an end difficulties, ambition, accomplishment, success, and triumph. Now, initially, you were going to make a promise to your sister that you could not keep, and that was to keep her safe always. Yeah. You have defied my wishes, my pen, my fingers, and
I have
made it so that you have a promise to keep your sister safe no matter what. That is a new truth. So I am.
You may make the scene.
You and your sister are at the coffee shop. The one that you used to. Is it? Hello? Oh, no.
Yeah. I'm here. Yes. I hear you. Yes.
I can hear you, but my screen is just... Okay. Oh. Sorry, 1 second. It just went black.
Oh, no. It's... We can also see you still.
Oh, no. That's... Where...
I hear you and see you.
Okay. Okay, so you can hear me? You can see me? You can see me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I think my monitors just it just went black.
Sad. Oh, you're also now frozen. I think he's refreshing himself at the moment as we speak. And he'll come right back. We just lost him, but he'll be back. I know it. He's going to do something terrible, by the way. He's going to try to punish me for defying him, but that's okay because I will not let it happen. He's just telling me that his computer crashed, but we're here. Is there another layer of fiction on top of this one? Is there another author messing with the stream? Yes, there is. I feel like there's a third author who's messing with the stream, or it's just me. It's just me messing with him even further. I just so you know, while he's restarting, I was able to make tooltips for for all of the pentacles, which is Act 1 here, which I wonder if you can see them up close. No, you can't. But you can see what the tooltip is there. So if you were playing this on my Roll20, you could actually see what the prompts are for each of the cards. At the moment, only the pentacles, because I was not able to get all the rest of them in just yet. But still, I think it actually works pretty well, and I've leveled up my Roll20 abilities. And this is all this is a public commercial community commons community commons comedy, free to use art that I got so that you can use textures and all that. And it's not that hard to do this. And I'm using these tokens here. These coins I'm using a deck with 2 cards, either reversed or not reversed. And you can pick, then you can draw cards in it. Find a way. Ooh, he will be back shortly. You can sort of move through. There are a lot of things you can do with Roll20 to make your games even more exciting. Creative Commons, thank you, Anageek, and also Hawkeye. There was a word, it was like Creative Commons. This game, which I believe you can get this over on itch.io, was inspired by Eminensis, another sort of game. This game you can actually run solo if you wish. If you play the character, if you're running it solo, sort of, but there's also this duo option, which we are doing, which I'm really excited about. I don't know how many people have done this duo, but I really like the dynamic that you get when you are going back and forth with an author who's just going to decide to write your fate, and with you deciding that you don't want the author to write your fate in that particular way. So I am excited to find out, but also I will note that I think the prompts get worse and worse and worse. There is, however, a final act of defiance in Act 5. We will see if we get there. And we're going to find out what happens in the end. Now, I will note that the author might be nice to the main character, the protagonist. I don't know. And then we'll find out if I'm going to be nice to the author at the end. Again, I don't know. I cannot say because we haven't gotten there yet. Also, in case you're interested, this here is the Palladino Aquarian Tarot deck from 1970, which is this beautiful Art Deco, Art Nouveau tarot deck, which I think is absolutely gorgeous. And I also have like the Wraith Waiter. I've got a bunch of the other ones that I've been sort of putting together, but I just thought for our story, we definitely needed this one because it'll help us dig into who these characters are and what they are about, I guess. Yeah, that's also, they say it can be done in 2 to 4 hours. I don't believe them, but it's possible. It is possible that it can be done in 2 to 4 hours, I think. And I don't actually think it's... I do have the link for this in case you are... if you are interested. What is this? Other Doc says, I have a copy of that tarot deck. I found it again a little while ago. Other Doc, nice. I think I am from the 70s. So my mom didn't have this deck. I think she had the Rider Waite, but she had this yellow book. Marcus is giving me some notes. He's spinning. He's loading right now. He's in his restart. I'm watching it happen. Spinning wheel. We'll see. So if you don't know, for those of you who don't know Marcus, Marcus is Drunkenly Romantic, Best Kind of Worst, Producer Markus. He is a producer for Gen Con Online, Gen Con TV, is a very creative person, has amazing graphic design skills, does things real fast in a really amazing way, and is somebody who is a really good human being. Ride a painted pony, let the spinning wheel turn. He's somebody who is like one of my favorite people. And I love how his mind works. When I saw this game, Death of the Author, I thought, I want to play this with Marcus. Marcus is the perfect person to play this game with because he's going to come up with something. And I'm already really excited with where we've started. You need to have him play another character to pick up where Dex Raymond's tragic death left off. Well, at the moment I get to have him at least here, we will see what happens next. And for those of you who don't know, Dex Raymond is one of the investigators for Cthulhu Confidential, which he was the very first person who did that with me. And he was great. He died. He had the choice of stopping the bad guys or saving himself, and he chose to stop the bad guys, but that then spelled his doom. But that's one of the things that I think makes Marcus so great as a creator. Oh, yeah, made you ugly cry. Oh, made me too. Oh, wow. He's a little concerned right now about his hard drive. There's a question about his hard drive. I'm going to tell him it's okay. It's okay. I'm saying nice things about you to chat. He's restarting again. Hopefully, there will not be doom on his sometimes you just start it up and start and stop again, and have it all be okay, I guess, right? Crossing fingers. Speaking of which, I actually have a remote control for my lights that I almost never use. And I think, yep, it works. So if we need a dramatic, a dramatic change of lighting, we can do that. So, all right. While we're waiting, I also thought I'd let you know that I spent a little bit too much time working on our overlay as well. I hope you like our torn paper theme that I spent way too much time on. Oh yeah, this is what we would call exceedingly extra, I think, is what I did. But I was inspired by the game. Whenever I get a really good game, I'm often inspired to do something very cool with the overlay, and this game certainly does inspire me. You have one of those lights at your desk too? Nice. Hey, you know what? You need good LED lights so that you can have good lighting without being too hot. Because who wants extra hotness? I don't. That's the worst. Right? So, anyhow, let's see. While we're chatting, I thought I'd bring up what's happening next. Next week, we're going to have a Call of Cthulhu one-shot for charity run by Warp Reactor Greg. It's going to be sort of like a Hateful Eight, Fistful of Dollars, sort of Call of Cthulhu Down Darker Trails, sort of like a Old West Cthulhu one-shot. And I am very excited for it. And that's going to be happening next Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern for a charity. We're going to put together assets and all of that pretty soon. Friday, indeed, Friday. Onigeek says, now I think of it, I think I've been in a multi-person convo in the Gen Con Discord with Marcus. I can't remember, though. Probably you have been. Yes, Western Cthulhu. And I do have a cowboy hat, so I think I should be fine. I also have Western wear, so, and also a bolo. You know, I used to go out country dancing quite a lot, so I have the accoutrement and the clothing, and it's not even costume, it's just my life. So I'm going to be good with that. So that's going to be next week. We'll be doing that. The week after that will be the beginning of Seasons of Death Winter, our last of the 4 special agents in Night's Black Agents solo. That's going to be Werewolf Feels, who we're going to be having our session 0 coming up pretty soon to make his character. I'm really excited to find out what kind of agent he has and get that ready. So we've got like some really good short shots and duos coming up until you need more opportunities to wear that yellow suit. Oh, indeed. Indeed. The Weird Wild West? I have 4 wrestlers from there. Ah, the Weird Wild West. That would be like, you know what's weird about the Wild West? Sorry, just got to say this. That like, they're like, oh, the West. You're like, oh, but that's actually pretty far east. You know what I mean? Because the Western expansion. I always think it's sort of interesting that you're very nervous. Oh, werewolf. Don't be nervous. Just have joy. I'm so excited because I am just so excited to figure out what sort of agent you're going to make, because it could be anything. And I'm so excited for your agent to, have a lovely time where nothing bad happens. And there are certainly no vampires who are dangerous and bad. So then we're going to do, probably 2 to 3 sessions of that. And then we'll do a one shot of something. And then we're going to do some combat, a combat boot camp for Traveler, both sort of hand to hand, ranged, in person, like people level, and then also spaceships. So we have that going on. We're getting a message. I'm getting a message from Marcus. I will let you know what happens. I am ready. We'll have to find out what happens. I have no doubt that you will be in. Rissa, Werewolf. I love Werewolf. I loved playing Motor City Hollow Crown with him. Such a good player. I also loved playing with him in Tunnels and Trolls. Werewolf Feels is such a great player with such a good spirit, really thoughtful, very smart player, just the kind of player I love. So I'm very excited to play Seasons of Death with him in 2 weeks. So that's a big plus for me. I like having good people to play with. It always inspires me as a GM to make me better at whatever it is that I'm doing. Okay, so right now he's still getting the spinning wheel. He's going to restart one more time, and if that doesn't work, he's going to join from his laptop. You know what we're going to do? What we're going to do right now, because he's doing a restart. You have character ideas? Ooh, okay. I'm really excited for this character idea. We'll find out. I'm going to take us to break. We'll do a little early break. And when we come back, hopefully Marcus will be ready. And let me get our... Where are you? OBS. Where are you hanging out? Nope, that's not it. Hey, OBS. There you are. I'm going to take us to break. I have to do this by hand, sadly, but let me get us ready to go to break, and then we'll take a 10-minute break, and when we come back, hopefully we'll get Marcus, and then we will be ready for this. Perfect. We'll see you in 10 minutes. Drink some water and stretch your legs. We'll be right back. And welcome back, everyone. We are back after a break, but most importantly, Marcus is back with us. Woo! His computer decided to stop being ridiculous and trying to resist all of the goodness. And so we are back. We are currently in scene 3 of Act 1, the prologue. And in scene 3, the author, played by Marcus, was going to write that I was going to make a promise to my sister that I could not keep. But I decided to defy the author. And I say that I'm going to change that to say that I make a promise to keep her safe that I do keep. And now the author has got to write the scene and is going to be inspired by the chariot in the upright position with how they're going to mess with me, I guess, when they write the scene. I suppose, they have feelings about me rooting their great work of art. I don't know. It's my life. It might be their book, but it's my life. And so we're going to find out how our author writes this scene.
You remember sitting in the coffee shop with Noelle. This wasn't that long ago, but it wasn't this recently. Probably within the last year. And she was sipping her cappuccino, and you were having your black coffee, and she squeezes your hand, and she asks, "Do you remember the days by the boat? The first day, my first day out by the water?" And you have a certain recollection of it, the sun, the sand, really it being too bright for your eyes, but you're kind of getting a little bit of a feeling. She was so scared that she was going to drown, that
Yeah.
she was going to go the way of your brother she never met. And you're older. You were older. You knew how to swim. You knew this. She wanted you to promise that that you would be able to protect her. And I think even part of you knew that there's no way you could protect her from everything, no matter what. But you made that promise. And for all intents and purposes, from her perspective, you've kept that promise, even to this day. And that is a lot of pressure going forward.
Mm. Mm-hmm. 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 I respond. Not to the author, but I'll tell you what I think. I see what he did there. He gave me that promise, but now he makes it the heavy chain, the burden that I carry every which way. And she's the sun, I'm the moon. She shines brightly, I guess. Which means people see her and try to take advantage, right? She's actually a much tougher cookie than people give her credit for, but I always have to be on the lookout. Always. It's interesting that he brought us back to now rather than staying in the past, although he did bring up the boat. Well, I guess we'll see. To end the first chapter, we have... we are not yet done with this chapter. There are a few things we have to do. To end a chapter, we get... the author must leave me a message, either intentionally or accidentally. The author will draw a major arcana card from the deck to determine the theme of the message that is left to me. And also pull your coin to find out how that worked out.
It is
an upright emperor.
Upright emperor. Okay, I'm going to find the emperor card real quick.
While you're doing that, I thought I would just read the little example of the message for the audience because they might find this interesting. They do have an example of play where we have the message from the author. So after all the scene prompts have happened, our author draws a major arcana card to determine what message the author leaves for Rio the character. Could be unintentional or intentional. The card that in the example we get is Strength, reversed. And one word stands out in Alex's guide, which is self-doubt. And so Alexei decides that the author has been rattled by Rio's narrative changes and is beginning to worry about maintaining control over the story. So Alexei thinks that this comes out as the author sending Rio a threat, attempting to stamp down Rio's resistance before he messes with the narrative further. And so Alexei considers how the author delivers this message and decides it's not told through words, but through symbolism. And so there's this little scene that the author writes. Rio wakes up sore after the previous day of tending the damaged crops, attempting to salvage the surviving bushes of glyph melons. He sits up to stretch, then stops cold. All of his pens lie snapped and scattered on the floor, ink bleeding out over the wood. He jumps from his bed and throws open his door, looking fearfully into the hallway. A streak of black catches his eye, a smeared, inky handprint still dripping on the door of his sister's room. The ink begins to fade, meant only for Rio's eyes. But the meaning behind the handprint remains clear. Stop interfering with my story, or your sister won't live to see its end. So that is their example. Dearest author, what does the Emperor upright tell us?
So the Emperor upright, the meaning is a mature man of authority who is intelligent, experienced, confident, and reasonable. Can indicate a dominant male influence in the seeker's life. He represents the ability to use mental control over emotion and the ability to successfully execute plans of action. I believe so. So now this is we're actually playing the duet version of the system, which I think is a great addition to this. So in this one, I would pull the card and I would project I would say give it a meaning, and then I would say what would the character's perspective be. But since you're the character,
well, actually, you're giving me a message, is what you're doing.
Oh, just straight up a message.
You're sending a message either advertently or inadvertently to me.
Okay.
So reflect how this, like, because basically I have messed with your story twice now.
Yeah. So you are. We established that you do work. Ralph works somewhere, right? Does he work in a?
Mm-hmm. I think it's a late night sort of. Probably a cafe. You said restaurant or cafe.
Yeah.
Probably a cafe, like sort of like a restaurant-y cafe. You know, one of these things that come a little bit of hybrid place, I think.
Yeah. So Ralph is nothing abnormal for his shift. Walking in the back behind the red lights with the fake leaves that hang above the back area of the back of house. He goes into the freezer to get some more butter. Just then needs some little request for extra butter. He goes and opens the big walk-in, and when he shuts the door, he finds that he can't move. He physically cannot move forward. His body turns, and you can see the reflection of himself and something in the walk-in. He looks in his own eyes. He does not see himself in there for a moment. There's this sense of the sense that he is being puppeted and that he is not in control, obviously, but more importantly, that someone could pull him back on track. He maybe needs to be careful because he's playing with fire.
Can't move my body.
Someone opens up the walk-in. Everything's fine. He's able to move. Where's the butter?
Here.
Thank you. And she goes off, gets the butter, gets a nice tip because we're living in a good place where they tip people well.
Well, I get to answer a question to end this chapter, which is, what part of themselves does the author can show me with this message? Yes, there we go. The author has shown me something. And it's a little bit complicated. Whoever this author is, I don't know their name yet. But they keep writing a character, me, being unable to control things. I couldn't control my brother's death. I couldn't control what happened to the fire. He tells me that I can't control protecting my sister, even though I keep trying. And now this one moment when I decide to try to make this better, he makes it so that I cannot control my body. The author has shown me that he is desperate to control his, well, my life, I guess, because he cannot control his own. I don't think outside of this book that I'm in, he has any control at all. And I think he has to take it out on me somehow. That, yeah, this author, he's shown me that he doesn't have control outside of this novel in his actual life. Has no control in his outside life. That's what I've learned about our author. Let's clear our major arcana and shuffle that deck and move over to chapter 2, the exposition, if you don't mind.
Here we go. Okay, so I'm pulling from the swords for the exposition.
That is correct. And I'll remove the pentacles. Pick our 3 scenes and give them their coins.
Ooh, there we go.
I like how we keep getting reverse, upright.
Yeah,
okay.
It's a nice pattern we're unlocking. If it happens one more time, I'm gonna start getting concerned.
Yeah, this is the exposition.
Okay, so I'm getting that pulled up so we have the actual words for it.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Okay, here we go. Flip card for scene 1 of the exposition. We got the Knight of Swords. So the Knight of Swords.
Is what?
This is upright or down. This is down.
Reversed, yeah.
Reversed. So upright, the page of the Knight of Swords means your foe makes an unexpected appearance at your home. That is the upright. The reverse, your foe makes an unexpected appearance on the news.
Oh, okay. I have a defiance and I have a reversal, but I will not use either one at this moment. I will let you write this scene.
Thank you. So you're in the break room. You don't like to be, you've been off of work for about an hour, actually, maybe a little bit longer. You kind of don't find much of a purpose outside of what you're doing. And it's a little bit easier just to sit in the back, have an extra cup of coffee, watch whatever's on the break room TV. There's a broadcast about a national news story coming out of Florida. There was a instance of a dog getting attacked by a crocodile, and it was saved by this mother of 3 down in Florida. And when you see her face, you see your mother's face on the screen, the hero who saved this little dog from an alligator, crocodile. You can see the footage. It's kind of cell phony, grainy footage, but you know it's her. You see the picture up with her new family. And you knew this happened, but you didn't expect to see it right there in front of you in your place of safety. And you definitely didn't expect it in all your entire life, even though you should have, because she always found a weird way to get into something, good or bad. But your mom Whatever she is to you now is now the news story of the week because she saved a small chihuahua from an alligator with a knockoff handbag.
Okay, why did he do this? Why did the author do this? Why did he have my mother show up on TV with 3 new kids? Uh, okay, all right. So this is the exposition of my story, right? So my hero's journey, my adventure is going to start with this, with this. What does that mean? Does that mean I is this like a road trip story where my sister and I are going to road trip across the country to Florida to find my mom? Is that what's going to happen? Why? Why? Why is he doing this? It feels just like he's trying to make me feel irrelevant somehow, but I'm not. It's okay. That's all right. I'm not going on a road trip. I'm not going on a road trip. Scene 2.
Excellent. Okay, let's see where this is going next. Okay, we have the 7 of Swords. So pulling up the 7 of Swords now. So this is a reverse 7 of Swords. Upright, this would mean you receive a letter that is laced with poison. One of the worst letters you could receive. I'm just going to add some editorializing on my part, but I do want to say
Yeah,
that.
no, I think that's true.
I just want to get ahead of that. Like, that's my official stance on that. But this was reversed. So this is a reverse 7 of Swords, which means you received a letter that declares a challenge.
I am going to defy this.
Defy. Okay, so you receive a letter that fill in the blank.
I receive a letter that is a college acceptance letter for my sister to Cal Arts.
Okay.
You may pull your major arcana to see how you respond to my defiance of your plans.
Okay,
And pull your coin.
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting the dang wonderful coins that you set up.
You gotta get the coins, you know, because you can't do up or reverse or upright with the deck, so it's the best way we got.
So this is the Hierophant, the Hierophant.
Hierophant.
That sounds right.
Elephant.
Helephant. The Hecaphant. This a compassionate person who is dedicated and helpful, yet may rule by tradition or orthodoxy. Can represent receiving instructions, guidance, inspiration, or the ability to hear an inner voice. Can also signify a religious ritual such as marriage, ceremony, or initiation. But this is the reversed version. So this means a weak and confused person who is unorthodox but open-minded. Can indicate misguidance, receiving bad advice, and also relates to the inability to hear a voice or falsity in the same. Okay. So you do get this letter. This letter of acceptance for her for Cal Arts, which is where she always wanted to go. It's where some of her favorite artists, some of her favorite, she loves animation. Some of the favorite places people's ever work go. But you also know that this represents for you. She's probably going to be moving at least like an hour and a half away. That's not hard, but with LA traffic, that's how distance grows between people. Sure, you can call, but she's not a good texter. And she doesn't love talking on the phone. So maybe, she's getting in, but, it's not starting for a little bit. And the moment you hand that to her, the moment it becomes real. So what's the harm in putting it at the bottom of the mail on your bedside table for a little bit longer? Just a little bit, just a couple of days. Because then you could just keep living in the world that you live in where everything's fine and you can control it.
I see. I don't know why you did that to my sister. Or were you doing that to me? So it is written. I see. I see. Well, I guess you don't think that I can support myself on my own. You don't think that I can maintain relationships with people, but I can. I know I'm never going to give her that letter. I know that. I know you won't let me. I know you will not let me give her that letter. That's okay, though, because I am going to find a way to make it so that my sister has a good ending at the end of this novel, and you cannot stop me. I want you to know that, whoever you are out there, you won't be able to stop me.
Perfect. Great. Excellent. Excellent.
Oh!
Okay. Scene 3 of the exposition.
Okay.
Scene 3. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Flipping the card. This is going to be up. So, okay, it is the Ace of Swords, upright. That seems good on paper.
Okay.
Ace is number 1. I got to remember that, so I got to look down here. So this means you hear a siren ring through the air if it's upright. If it's not, you hear a scream ring through the air.
Ooh.
You have one reversal, so it could be a scream or a siren. Yeah.
Okay. Author, you don't have to listen to what I'm going to say. I'm going to talk to the audience right now. Okay, audience. So the author is out to get me. You know what I'm saying? And I don't like either one of these. If I get the siren, it could be anything. If it's the scream, I don't like where that might go. So I do not think I will use my reversal, because I think I might have a little bit more, I don't know, control if I don't use it. Maybe I won't provoke him, right? If I just let him think that he can control this story, maybe I can actually get it to go my way. Author, I am not going to use my reversal.
You are awoken, not at first by the piercing sound of the siren, but by that smell that you smell in your dreams. Smoke. 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 You hear the fire alarm go off, first in the room next to you, and then in yours, and then around the house. It doesn't feel hot. You get up from bed quickly, running around the house looking for the source of the fire. In the kitchen is your sister, holding the letter to CalArts that was under weeks of your mail. It had been opened, clearly. In the sink, she has water running lightly, and she's just burning her acceptance letter. She's burning your mail. She seems distraught. She maybe is not. She always had these outbursts when she was younger, and it was probably due to your mother and father, but she never had a way to grow out of them, and you always tried to help her. But she is angry, and she is hard to console when she is angry. What do you do?
You know how I feel about fire. Of course, this is what you do. Of course, this is what you do. And of course, you leave this chapter in a cliffhanger. So I don't even get to know. I even gave you, let you think you're in control of the story even. And you do this. Noelle would sometimes have these fits of rage. She was younger, but she could be very violent at times, and like Big Jim, thought that she had mostly grown out of it, you know? That's actually why when Mom left, I didn't, I just took care of it myself, because I didn't want Child Protective Services to get involved, because they would separate us, and she didn't need that. So, but we will get through this. She will forgive me, and we will get through this. But you're telling on yourself, I think. Just a little.
Excellent.
That said, I did actually intervene, which means you do get to give me a message.
Oh, did you intervene on this one?
I intervened in this chapter with the Defiance, and
right.
so...
Okay. So I'm going to draw my my main card,
Yes.
as well as a
Yep.
upright token.
Yep.
Okay, let's see.
Mm-hmm.
It is the Fool, upright Fool. I like an upright Fool.
Uh-huh. So this is going to be the message that you send to me, either consciously or subconsciously, in response to me defying you in scene 2.
So the meaning of the Fool portrays the creative mind and an open heart of the mature seeker who has attained a high degree of consciousness. A time of being in touch with the prompting of inner higher mind, followed by inner guidance in making decisions, can indicate reaching a level of cosmic consciousness or cosmic forces taking hand in the seeker's life situations, an important aspect of the application of higher consciousness to life.
So this could be about you, could be about, well, who knows what it's about. That's up to you.
I think at this point, speaking like from the author standpoint, at this point, I don't think the author. How do I put this?
Yes, share your thoughts, author. I will note them.
I think what the author wants out of this interaction here, and the exposition and the Defiance here, is the knowledge that we are all also we are capable of change. Let me sit with this for just one more second.
Of course. Yeah. I wonder about my author, what they are planning.
I think what you see, what the thought in their heads would be more along the lines of very basically they are in a room, maybe their childhood room, and on the other side of the door they can hear their parents' voice. You can hear your parents' voice, your mom and dad's voice, telling you what to do through the door. Like you can hear a voice in the background of it saying something else. You're not sure what that voice is, but that's the voice you know you have to listen to. That's the voice you want to listen to. Maybe it was your aunt. Maybe it was your aunt who took you to see scary movies. Maybe it was your uncle. Maybe it was not Jim, obviously, but maybe it was your brother. Maybe it's something, but that there's a voice on the other side of that door that is barely cutting through, and that is where you need to go. That is the path you need to stay on.
Okay. So I now get to respond to this question. And the question that I respond to is, how does this change my perception of the author? So this author has given me a memory of an aunt that I want to listen to, that's the right track for me. Not my parents. This feels like the good cop. The author is trying to be the good cop for me right now. Maybe if threats didn't work, maybe, and it's clearly playing on the fact that I have better relationships with the women in my family than I do with the men in my family. Bring up my aunt. Right. This is what the author is trying to do. I see what they're doing. But here's the thing. This tells me something about the author. I think the author is alone, does not have a lot of control outside. I think the author is lonely. I think the author wants love. Perhaps they loved someone dearly, someone probably that they idolize. I don't know what kind of love this was, but it's the theme of women that the author keeps writing women into this story, or writing around the women in my story, in my life. I think this author is lonely and maybe a little heartbroken, and it's trying to get someone back in some kind of a way. I don't know who it is yet, who it is that they miss or trust. But I will find out who it is. That is chapter 2, the exposition, which is going to lead us to chapter 3, the rising action, with our deck of cups.
Cup deck. Okay.
And don't forget your coins.
Dun, dun, dun. Oh, it's happening again. It happened again.
In reverse.
In reverse. Oh my gosh, this is great.
In reverse. Okay. Okay.
So, are you ready?
No, but yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm very much ready. I'm a little bit worried about you, but it's fine. Okay, this is the rising action. Okay.
Flip this card.
Okay. Cliffhanger.
Okay, the 3 of Cups.
Okay. 3 of Cups.
Okay, so this is a 3 of Cups upright. So upright, the 3 of Cups means you've been told a lie about your family. If you were to reverse it, you've learned you've been told a lie about society, something that almost all of us, if not all of us, have experienced in this life.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to reverse it. I will let you tell this story, author. For now.
You were going through old family belongings, trying to find some pictures from maybe that boat, that first trip out by the water with your sister. Maybe this is an attempt to make it up to her. Maybe it's misguided. Maybe it's guided by exactly what you know, your sister. But regardless, you are going through old files, old pictures. Your mom did not put anything together in any reasonable way, did not keep things. There's a couple boxes out in the back. And your eye catches on a picture. It's a picture of your mom and the baby, your sister, baby Noelle, but with someone else. It doesn't really look like an uncle. It doesn't look like anyone you've ever recognized before. The only kind of resembling trait is he has like the same nose as Noel.
Hmm.
Digging a little bit deeper, you find some papers that ultimately confirm this. Noel is not your full sister. She is still your sister, but your mom kept this from you and maybe your father. You don't know. You don't really talk too much with any of them. Yeah, she's not your at least full sister.
Hmm. So the author is trying to, it's the second time now, and the exposition started. The author keeps trying to pull me away from my sister. First, trying to separate us. Now, trying to again separate us. Why? Why is this in chapter 3? Why is the author trying to separate me from my sister? Why does this chapter, why do we start after that cliffhanger with the burning letters? Why do we start there? Why is he doing this? Why does he want to separate me from my sister? But more importantly, who is my sister's father? Is that if I don't interfere this chapter, will I get what I want? Or has the author just, I mean, he's sort of on a power trip, isn't he? Why is he doing this? There is something in here. There is a clue. There's a clue into who the author is, what's happening here. Did he have a sister? Does... Okay. I'll wait. We'll see how this plays out.
Okay. Scene 2. That would be the 4 of cups, and that is a reversed. You utter something that mistakenly reveals a secret. Or, if you make it upright, you utter something that you can never take back.
I don't know if I want this author in control of what happens here in this moment. I could defy this. I utter something that I could change that to be whatever I wanted, or I can't reverse this. I utter something that I could never take back is not something I want this author to have any kind of control over. I know how they are. So I will defy this. I will use my defiance, and I will utter something that looking at the photo, I will utter something. I'm going to change this. That reveals who my sister's actual father was. Who, by the way, is like a rich Florida politician, right? Like the governor of Florida at the time, I think. Right. Or like a yachtsman, or like somebody who would like sail in the America's Cup, that kind of thing, right? Somebody who's like a famous, like a Aristotle Onassis, but not actually him, but somebody like that from Florida. That my sister has got a father who's rich and influential, and she loved boats. So yeah, I am going to utter something that reveals that my sister's father was a champion yacht racer, influential guy, handsome. Not like, my family, we lived in a kind of a crappy apartment complex, but her dad. Her dad is going to be somebody that, somebody amazing. Yeah, that's what I utter. And you may draw that Arcana card to see how you respond to my messing with your story.
Absolutely. It is upright. So let's flip it. That would be the Lover's card.
Ooh. Okay.
Lover.
Okay.
Upright.
Okay. Lover's upright. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I will say this. There's a lot of tarot cards. I'm scrolling too far. So that means beauty, inner harmony, a caring and trusting relationship. The joining of two hearts in love can also indicate the necessity for making a responsible decision, which calls for emotional control and adherence to the spiritual values in the choice.
Hmm.
The feeling that you've
What's the scene?
The scene is you're out. You and your sister are out for the first time in a couple of weeks. You guys have talked. She stopped by your work a couple times to get a normal drink, and then say hi, leave. But it's been a little bit colder than normal, which is weird because it's been a little bit warmer than normal outside. So you guys decide to take advantage of this and go out to one of the little lakes. There's ducks, there's squirrels, there's people running around, lots of noise, and you guys get a churro from the park, and
Yeah.
you just kind of sit down on a bench by the water. She's kicking her shoes, getting grass stains on them, and she lets you know how upset she was by what you did. And you didn't ruin anything for her, but it made her feel like when mom was around and when dad was around. And she couldn't have any kind of inner life of her own. And since mom went away, which was hard, and you were there for her and you've been there for her, but like it's like you're betraying her too. And she knows it didn't come from any place. Like you weren't trying to hurt her, but you did, So it wasn't malicious, but it doesn't mean that it didn't hurt that trust. And she just kind of now just picking apart the churro with her fingers, then dusting it off nervously.
When do I utter about her father?
I think it is deep within you. It is right there. You need to make the choice to say it, so you choose to say this. I think whether it is the best time or not, you show her the picture. You explain what you found, while also going into detail that this does not change the facts that you are the brother and she is the sister. I think she quietly finishes her churro, takes the paper, gives you a hug, not as normally, not as strong and firm as normal, but still a hug. When she goes off on her own for a little bit. She calls you later in the night, but she needs to be alone for about 4 hours, just to think. I'll let you guys figure out what you ever think that conversation is. But yeah.
Right. So, the final. I have to tell you what I think about it. I'm surprised. He's being kind to me and my sister, or maybe he's being kind to my sister. He's not messing with me like he has been. It's good. It's good. It makes sense. It feels like she forgave me. That's important. And I mean, that was a bit of a low blow about how it was when mom and dad were there, but he let her be okay. And he didn't ruin our relationship, so that's not going to be it, I think. I don't know what the car chase or whatever it's going to be is going to be. But I think my sister and I will be all right. So I think it's okay. I suppose we'll find out what happens in the next scene, but maybe this will turn out okay. Maybe this is the turning point and it'll be okay. I hope so.
Okay, let's see what scene 3 holds for us.
Hmm.
Flipping the card, it is reversed, and it is the 8 of Cups. So now the 8 of Cups, and this is reversed. So the 8 of Cups reversed is you are abandoned after a reckless decision. Upright is you are cornered after a reckless decision.
I'm going to use my reversal. I would rather be cornered after a reckless decision than be abandoned after a reckless decision, because I know I don't trust you. You've been nice to me so far recently, but I don't trust what kind of foreshadowing you've set up when it comes to my sister and I. So I am going to take being cornered after a reckless decision just to make sure you can't ruin my relationship with my sister. She's all I've got right now. Right? I mean, my mom's back in Florida with 3 other kids. My dad, I don't want to talk about that. The Big Jim's in prison, all of that. And I don't want you ruining that.
I think you made a smart choice there. So, okay, let me think about this scene.
You get to pick your major arcana as inspiration.
Yes. I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
I love this. I love that you get to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see what the major arcana is. It is strength.
And pull your coin.
My coin, my beautiful coin. It is a reversed strength. So reverse strength is weakness, lack of courage, and integrity. So weakness, lack of courage, integrity, corruption, hostility, domination, abusiveness, and failure.
You get to make the scene, but I've lost him. I've lost my author, who was about to, I don't know, do something terrible. Everybody, now that he's not here, watch out for him. He is planning shenanigans. I'm going to tell you something. I'm getting a message from him right now. He's restarting. So he's restarting, and I'm going to tell you something about he crashed, about what happens next. We've got chapter 3, which is the rising action, which we are in the last scene of right now, right? And then we get chapter 4, which is the climax. And then we have chapter 5. Chapter 5 is not like the other 4 chapters. Chapter 5, we don't pull cards. The author is in control of all of those first 4 chapters. I get to have chapter 5. That one's mine. And, hey, how are you? I was just chatting with them about some stuff, but you didn't hear it, so that's fine. I will finish that thought later, chat. The author does not need to know what we were talking about.
Glad. Okay, so I'm getting my windows pulled up real quick. 1 minute.
Sure.
I'm in the Roll20 games.
Just note, it's a whole different thing that happens once we get to chapter 5. And then hey, author, how you doing?
Good. I'm just getting all the screens right back to the right spot. Sorry.
Oh, nice. As long as you can't see what I was doing, I think we're fine.
No, I can't see a single thing you were doing. So
Great.
luckily, you're not in trouble. Okay, so this was we just drew the 8 of cups, which
Yep.
you are cornered after a reckless decision. Okay.
Well,
So,
you were going to have it so that I was going to be abandoned, and I decided to reverse that, uno reverso you, so that rather being abandoned, I'm going to be cornered, and you have to write the scene now.
correct. You have been in over your head before, and you've been in some pretty bad situations before. This, you didn't think this was going to be one of them. You wanted to be go above and beyond and get some more information about your sister's father, her birth father. And when you get to a certain level of success, people don't really love people poking around in some of the shadier aspects of their life. So whether this was sent by this person or not, you asked one too many questions at maybe the wrong place. And we have some security guards who maybe are a little less orthodox than normal.
Yeah.
They are pulling you outside into the back.
Yeah.
And they don't look like they're here to talk.
Yeah.
You are cornered by them.
Yeah. I imagine this is probably where I get beaten really badly, of course. Seems like it's good rising action. They probably make some sort of threats, probably.
Yeah. You know what? They give you a good beating. Just a good solid alleyway, traditional alleyway beat.
Yeah.
Nothing too much that you're gonna have to go to the hospital, but not enough that you're not gonna call the cops and not gonna,
Yeah.
You were maybe you went into a room that you weren't supposed to go in. Maybe you opened up a file you weren't supposed to. You're not that big of a threat, but you did get the absolute hell beaten out of you.
Yeah.
And now maybe even pushed yourself a little further away from finding any answers for your sister.
Well then, that leaves us with the author's note, because I did mess with your story. You may pull your major arcana to get inspiration for the message that you leave me, either consciously or subconsciously. And
Flipping.
beaten in an alley.
The Empress.
Ooh.
The Empress. So reading what the Empress is, this is, I believe, an upright Empress, which is what I refer to them as. Empress, a loving and devoted family woman who is the essence of creativity and productivity. She represents initiative and a practical action that brings success, comfort, luxury, good luck, prosperity, and happiness. She can also indicate fertility and motherhood. Okay. And this is my reaction to your changes of the scene.
Yes.
Okay.
What is your note to me, the protagonist? Is you going to tell me something? He just went missing. He's got some crashes. Look, we don't have much time before he's back. Let me just let him know. Oh no, I was just going to tell them something, but now I can't because you're back already. That's fine. Don't worry about it.
I'm trying to write a book here. Okay.
And I'm trying to conspire with the audience against you, but that's fine. You keep coming back right before I'm able to conspire.
Well, that's the great thing. If I could just stay internet goblins, if I could just.
Oh no! He might I might have just. Okay, look. He's a little lost, so now I can tell you. No, I can't tell you yet.
Can
Chad.
you hear me at all?
Oh, I can hear you.
Okay, good. I can't.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
I can hear you.
I'm gonna keep muted. I keep.
I was just about to tell chat the big thing, but you keep coming back when I'm about to spill some beans about what happens next. And what am I supposed to do with that? Because I can't tell them the secrets, while you're here. Now, I do actually want you to be here and to be regular, although I just lost you. So look, chat, before we go, chapter 5, right, which is the resolution after the climax, I get to answer a bunch of questions about the author, and I get to say a bunch of things about the author, and then I get the last act of defiance, right? There are 4 sentences. You meet your author, they are no longer in control, you say your piece, you act without mercy. And I have 1 defiance, which means I get to rewrite one of those last two sentences that are in full caps. Either you say your piece or you act without mercy. And I get to decide what those things are going to be. I get to read him for filth. And I'm just telling him something. I'm I'm talking smack and conspiring with chat. So, look. So here's the thing. I get to read him for filth in the very, very end, and what happens, I get to decide right at this last moment, depending on what happens. He got me beat up. That's kind of messed up, but I'm not too mad about that because you know what? Me being beat up is okay as long as it means nothing happens to my sister. So I'm okay with that. You know, it's good for the action and all of that. I can take a couple of lumps. It could have been worse. So it depends, really. A lot of this is going to depend on what happens in chapter 4, our second to last chapter. He's got one last chapter to try to wrap this up in a way that's not going to upset me, or I have one last chapter to try to turn this climax into something that's going to work out for me. I don't know what kind of message he's going to send me at the end, but whatever it is, know that at the end, I have got something that I can do. So we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out what happens in the end. Now, what's interesting, side note, meta, is that according to the rules, there are these questions about what each scene meant, and technically, the author is supposed to answer those questions. But I said that maybe the protagonist could, and maybe actually it might be interesting if the author does answer those questions. I think it might be really interesting if they did. So we'll have to decide at the last minute because I want to see how that goes. Yeah, no. Actually, maybe we'll actually do the rules as written here because I do want to know what the author's going to say about that. Well, yeah, and then I get to do my act of defiance at the end. But can you choose not to? I wonder. Surrender to your. Yes, you can. You can choose. You can always choose not to defy. You can allow the author to finish it how they will. But hey, author, how you doing?
I worry if I move or talk, it will shut off again. No, okay. Good, we're here. My screen,
Yes.
my screen flashed for a second, but we're good. Okay, I'm here. I'm back. I am here. Sorry, continue.
Hi. You were going to give me your message.
Yes. This was the Empress up.
Mm-hmm.
So this is yes.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, this comes to you in a dream. You are standing as a kid, as a child, with the red towel on with the white stripes at the bottom. And you remember that towel because that's the towel that you brought out on the day your brother drowned. And you're sitting there staring at his body face down in the water. And his body, it doesn't feel like it's sinking, but it's slowly being pulled under, lifeless. It goes so deep that you almost can't see the bottom of the pool that you definitely could see before. It was never that deep. It slowly starts moving back to the surface. And it's your mother's face. She smiles at you. The sun is so bright, reflecting off of the water, that it almost covers up your vision, the glare. and your mother's face turns into your sister's face. She opens her eyes and she smiles at you. And then you wake up to the sound of that alarm that wakes you up every single morning.
So, I have to answer the question based on this. What does the author foreshadow about the end of my story? I know that my mother is my foe, but this is loss, death, kindness. I just had some sort of violence. Wasn't the worst. My author is maybe stepping back. It's distressing that it came back to that time of the drowning. But I wonder if the author is foreshadowing some sort of release or forgiveness or redemption, maybe? Maybe my mother's going to die. Maybe. I don't know. But that dream is strange. It's something. My mother's coming back. I know my mother's going to come back here at the climax. I don't know. I don't know how I'd feel if my mother did die. Why did she turn on my sister? This actually seems like it might be about the author, not about me. I guess we'll find out. In chapter 4, the climax.
Okay.
I am going to get rid of those major arcana.
Yes,
I'm going to
that
say,
can
what did I
shuffle back
learn?
in.
Yep. What did I learn? I learned that maybe mother will die or redemption. Redemption? This is what I feel like. I've got a little bit of that. Let's get to chapter 4, the climax, while I shuffle our deck.
Sounds good. I'm going to start placing the wands or the rods.
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, everything's upright. Okay. That
Well,
seems good.
it could be good. It very well could be good, but looking at some of these uprights,
Oh.
I mean, don't worry about it. I'm sure you're going to be fine, though.
Oh. Oh, wait. What? Okay. What's our first scene, author?
Let's see what's first. The 6 of rods. Okay. So this is an
Okay.
upright 6 of rods. Upright, a confrontation ends with a confession. Reversed, a confrontation ends with a standoff.
I'm going to let you have this one. I know this tends to be my habit because I just don't want to use up all my power, the little agency I have too quickly, but I will let you take this one.
Your let me think for a second. You have had this in your head. I'm trying to find the card from earlier in the game. Yeah. Yeah, since the earlier in the story when we first learned about your mother,
Hmm.
you saw the footage of her in with her new life, her new family
Yeah.
on the
Saving the
news.
Chihuahua.
Yeah, from a gator or a crocodile.
Yeah.
Uh, so something about that is kind of not sit well with you. You you've always known where she was, but you didn't really think to look her up, to look into her. But you know what number to call, you've just never called it. So whether it's the feeling of your sister, these dreams, or my hand controlling you, you decide that it's in your best interests, whether it is or not, to get that number and try to confront your mother. And that's what you do. You let it fester and you say, I'll call her tomorrow. I'll call her when I get off work. You decide to call her on your 15-minute break at work in the evening, maybe after a drink. And you don't let her get a word in. You have things you wanted to say about her new family. While you're not cruel, you're not necessarily gentle either, but does she deserve it?
What's the
it
confession?
the confession is your mom apologizes for not being there when you lost your brother. She was she was on a lot of drugs. And you can't really hear it because it's not in the words, but it's in her voice. She she is so unbelievably sorry, and the reason that she ran away is not, and this is, she's not going to tell you this, but you can hear it. The reason that she ran away is just as much of her feelings as that. Like, it's she needed to, she couldn't confront it. I don't know. Maybe you left this conversation feeling just as small as you ever did, or maybe you leave this conversation realizing that all of us are just as small as that. I don't know. That's up to you.
I was really young, you know, and you don't really understand when your parents are drunk or on drugs when you're 5. You don't understand really what that means. It's just memories, you know, people laughing or yelling. You don't know what it means until later. And I don't even remember where mom or dad were or what time of day it was, if or even what day of the week it was. I don't remember if it was a weekday when they were at work or if it was a weekend when they should have been there. I was very young and I don't remember those details sometimes. I I, I feel the apology in some ways makes me feel better. I guess it's supposed to. I don't understand why she left us alone in Los Angeles and went back to Florida. She couldn't face us, I guess. But that means that we're like, she's made us everything that was bad in her life, but we were kids. We weren't bad. Sure, we we were difficult, like all kids are difficult. But why does she just get to start over and we don't get to start over? Or maybe we do get to start over. I don't know. But I guess maybe I should not blame myself for what happened to my brother. Because I always did. I always figured I should have, I don't know, jumped in the water to save him. But I mean, I know that's stupid because I was 5. But maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm a bit more like my mother than I thought I was or something. I wonder what her new life is like. Is it like good? I don't know if I should tell my sister. What's he doing? The author. What's he doing? I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Okay. Next up, then second scene in the climax. Flipping the card. That is the 7 of Rods. Okay. So for 7 of Rods, this is an upright 7 of Rods. Upright, an act of betrayal takes you by surprise. Reversed, an act of revenge takes you by surprise.
I am going to reverse that.
Okay.
I will have an act of revenge taking me by surprise. You may, if you wish, draw that Arcana card to inspire how you respond to my reversal.
It is upright. Let's see what it's going to be. That is the Emperor.
The Emperor. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
So it's a reversed Emperor. No, this is a upright Emperor.
It's a, yeah, that's, no, you have an upright.
Yeah. Mature man, authority, intelligence, experience, confident, and be dominant man.
So some big dude. This is, I'll be taking revenge rather than betrayal.
Yes.
Because I don't trust you not to have me do the betraying or my sister. So we'll go with this.
Your mom calls to talk to your sister. Your mom is a complicated person from what little you actually got to see her as an adult for the last little bit of your life with her before she went off. She doesn't know how to navigate interpersonal spaces without finding someone to punch, basically. She called your sister distraught about a conversation that you both had where you were clearly on something, this is her words, on something or drunk, and you called her at her new home with all of her family at night, and she's definitely making it. I think both of us trust your sister enough to know, but your mom, yeah, she called her. She apologized for not telling her about. She was confronted about the things, and the she told her that you knew and that this and this whole thing, and it became this. I don't know. Maybe you thought you were seeing another side of your mom that wasn't there before, but it seems like she's still kind of
the same.
That part of herself wrapped in there, yeah. Even if it's just a new packaging. Yeah.
I wow. So I have a conversation with my mom, which I have every right to do. And she calls my sister and lies about me. Yeah, I had a drink, right? But I have not been really drunk or high in a while. I've mostly kept myself pretty. I mean, it was not great for a while there, but working in a kitchen, you've got to get energy. But I have been clean for more or less, basically, just alcohol for some time. And oh, man, yeah. She knew exactly what to say. Oh, and I bet she was just so concerned, and she played that card. My sister had a really hard time when mom left. And she always really, really loved mom, or needed mom, and was always, upset that mom wasn't there when she got her period and all that stuff, right? And I did the best that I could. It wasn't always the best, but it was whatever it was that I could do. And wow. So what embarrass her? I embarrass her with her new family, and she decides to ruin my relationship with my sister for what? It's not like she's going to take my sister back. Wait, no, wait. This is being written by somebody. This is this is being written by somebody right now. Somebody's doing this to me. This is not just happening. Somebody is doing this to me. Right, right. The author is doing this to me. Right. Okay. I just have to remember that is a person who's doing this to me, and I can undo it. I can get around it somehow. Yeah. Okay.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Now, the final scene of chapter 4, the climax. That is a
Nine.
a 9 of rods.
9 of rods.
And this is a reversed 9 of rods?
Upright.
Upright 9 of rods. So an upright 9 of rods means you destroy something that is precious to you. Reversed is you lose something that is precious to you.
I don't have a reversal left, but I do have a defiance, and I am going to take it. I'm going to I'm going to take that defiance. I will not destroy the word I can change is destroy. I will not destroy something that is precious to me.
Correct.
I am going to that foreshadowing about my mother coming back and then connecting with my sister. I see you, author. I see you. Here you go. I am going to save something that is precious to me because I said that I would save my sister way back when we were much younger. But I'm going to bring in my own foreshadowing, and I'm going to save something precious to me. How do you respond?
Okay, let's see. I like that change. I respond with the tower down.
Okay.
Reversed.
A reversed tower. I'm sure that's not bad.
It's a tower on fire. That's how we started the game, with a tower on fire too.
Oh,
so
right.
That's a great hot start. So
Sure. Yeah, that's right. With my family home being burned down. Great.
A sudden and an unforeseen disruptive catastrophe, an abrupt change in one's life, usually regarded as leading to enlightenment and new lifestyle, can indicate a severe severed relationship, divorce, failure, business, or career, extensive financial losses. Reverse, same is much less severe. So interesting, interesting, interesting. Okay. So you choose, rather than to destroy something that's precious to you, to save something that's precious to you, and that is your relationship with your sister.
Yes.
There, you and your sister, we went this earlier. You and sisters live together for just out
Yeah.
of necessity in this nice place that you guys have had for a little bit. It's your family's. It's left over from, maybe it's Uncle Jim's place that he had from back in the day that he doesn't need anymore. But it's still there. It's been accruing a little bit of it's been there for a little bit of time on that space, and it catches fire.
Does it?
It catches fire, and there's a lot of stuff in there. A lot of the old photos. Nothing necessarily like that's not replaceable, but a lot of old things from your mother's, trash from your dad, stuff that you didn't want to throw away. Uncle Jim's dartboards. He's had a collection of dartboards in the garage forever. Just it just starts burning, and you were so annoyed at those smoke alarms that you undid them all because you couldn't get them going off that last time that when she was lighting the letters on fire. And you have a moment where you're both, she's at work, she's not, she's safe, and you think, well, I could just let this whole thing burn down. And I think that's what you do. You calmly walk outside, then watch the building, the house, burn down. You feel free by this. And because of this, there's a pretty decent insurance settlement. And that insurance settlement might just pay for a little bit of tuition for her, or at least something to get her situated. That
I'm always
smell of
worried about
fire
tuition.
that hits your nose. This one smells a little bit sweeter. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. Okay. Our family has always been complicated. Deadbeats, people who I like to think that in their hearts they were good people. It's just that when you don't have money and jobs are hard and you drink a lot and you do drugs and you had kids too young, you don't always make the best choices, and rich people look down on you and all of that stuff. We lived on the coast and there were always rich people around, and it's all that stuff. And you just respond in a lot of different ways, and you rebel, you run, I don't know, you do all sorts of things. I suppose some people go to college. My sister and I never did, although my sister's going to go to college. But it can also, all of that, all the memories from the first fire, everything that happened, it can weigh on you. And it's hard to fly when you're weighed down with all that stuff. So maybe it's good to just be free of all that stuff. It wasn't even ours. Jim's dartboards. And I remember that time He threw a dart at somebody just because he got mad. But I suppose I don't have to remember that anymore. Is this what he was going for, the author? Maybe the whole thing with my mom was a way to help me let that go too. Maybe. I guess we'll find out with a message from the author.
The world.
The world. The world upright. Huh. Okay. 21. Ooh. What message do you have?
I think for the first time, the main character, Ralph can remember. His dreams are not trapped in the past or the immediate present. He doesn't see everything so clearly, but he can keep the feeling. It's bright lights flashing, moving a little quick, but it's all there. Little screenshots. The future. His sister's graduation, her first production thing that she does there. Him getting where he wants to be at his job. Finding a new place to live. There's more. There's more in the future for him. And I think he sees that. There's still ankle deep water he's standing in. It's not going to be easy. But he can still move forward. I think that's it, that there's more future out there. The future's not just for other people. It's for him and his sister.
Not just for other people. For him and his sister. So, I have to answer a question. What is your author holding back even now?
Ooh.
And I know what the author is holding back even now. I figured it out. My author's name Raphael is his name. Ralph.
Yes.
That's what I figured out. His name. Raphael.
Perfect.
Well, now, this leads us to the last chapter, and it's the resolution. So we talked about the character answering these questions, but I think it's better if the author answers them. I do want to know, what part of yourself do you see in each character, dear author?
Okay. I think for now, this is Raphael, of course.
Yeah.
Not Marcus. For Raphael, I think Ralph is a easy way for him to insert aspects of himself that he doesn't like, that he wants to see grow, but he doesn't necessarily love. So it's easier for him to make that character a punching bag because he himself maybe feels like that sometimes. for Noel, obviously Noel represents the sister, represents a hope for him, or a hope for the future, or a hope that someone in his blood, someone sharing his blood, even if it's not a real sister, someone sharing his blood has hope for the future, which is something that maybe the author and the characters that the author is writing are not feeling themselves.
Mm,
Uh, for the mother, I think a part of him, the Raphael for the mother, I think his desire to sometimes just like you said as Ralph, you said a line that I thought stuck with me a bit, which was the oh gosh, I wish I could remember. It was about the mother specifically. Oh wow, I'm sorry, I blanked on it. But basically, the ability to why does she get to start new and you don't? Like she gets
yeah,
like the phone call. She could have said something along the lines of like, like I did this, and then if you were to press her with that, what could she say? What could she say that would
yeah,
one be satisfying to you? But like as Ralph, so like I think
yeah,
the ability to just leave everything over and start fresh, knowing full well that like maybe he could do that, maybe he could do that, because that requires leaving a bunch of people and also disconnecting yourself from that. So I think
yeah.
the mother represents the worst fears of what maybe could be. So
Mm-hmm,
so
mm-hmm.
stuck in the Ralph, stuck in the present, Noel, a uncertain future, and Margot, the fear of will what could just be if you let get stagnant or something. Probably.
Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. I see this. Um, then we have what part of each chapter revealed something about your author, and we have these four chapters to look at.
Okay.
And we can review our chapters. Right? In chapter one, our prologue, we had the early life of Ralph, the death of his brother in the hospital, the loss of hope, no longer believing in magic. And then, like, this violence at the cookout where Big Jim, who rarely comes around but was around this time, just became violent. And then this time reminiscing with Noel about the early days on the boat.
So
What?
I think in
Yeah,
chapter one, scene two probably the most represents something from the author, because scene one, while being the first memory, is kind of more set up. It's like they're actually going to get to the plot of that, while the sister stuff is a further to set up the stakes for him. But what is the one thing there that's kind of out of the the two things follow, the
mm,
sister and the family. The one thing is family, but it's more about the violence than it is the trauma of seeing it or going to
yeah,
jail. It's the I think it is the fact that violence, and it also was relevant to the character being fearful that the author was going to do some terrible things, because
yeah,
the violence shocked Ralph or Raphael so much that it
yeah,
has to shock Ralph as well. So
yeah,
the violence was so shocking because it could happen to anyone at any time, and it could be someone you trust or like. It could be someone in
yeah,
your family who's supposed to take care of you. So I think that
yeah,
itself was a key thing of the fear of Ralph's. Same thing with the older members of his family becoming that,
yeah.
or defaulting to that, slouching into that. So I'd say the violence, the fear of violence, was a big thing for him.
Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. Okay. Fear of violence. What about chapter two? What part of chapter two revealed something about our author? In chapter two, we learned his mother sort of comes into the story that she had this whole new family, and then we get this letter from Cal Arts that Ralph, out of fear of losing his sister, basically hides, and then his sister finds the letter and burns it, sort of revealing her own tendency towards violence, rage, right? That sort of history of it. Yeah. What about our author, Raphael, Rafi, do we learn from chapter two?
So this is where I'm like a little unsure if I should go into it like from the author's psychological standpoint, like a direct thing, or if it should be like a. So what my initial thought here for this was that the fire alarm going off in the house, coming out to someone burning documents, as a
Yeah.
way of showing, hey, this is a big statement or a big dramatic kind of moment. That definitely, that's not like necessarily a revealing thing, but I feel like that is so specific that it had to have happened to this author.
Yeah.
Maybe not
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
exact
Yeah.
same thing, but like that
Yeah.
feels like of all the rest of them, that feels like the one
Yeah.
that like he was like, I have
Yeah.
this happened to me. I need to put this in there. I'm going to change the story.
Yeah.
Well, but maybe it was an ex-girlfriend, maybe it was an ex-boyfriend. I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but it definitely something happened there.
Yeah. Yeah. That actually makes sense to me. That was such a very specific memory. I feel like you're right that Raphael must have woken to that happening.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Um, chapter 3. In chapter 3, the rising action, we learned that his sister Noelle had a different father, and that we have the fallout from him sort of like hiding the college acceptance. That she expresses that she felt betrayed, that he was like so how important he was. There's like a bit of a distance, but also then he shows her the photograph of the father, but says that it doesn't change their relationship. And while he goes looking in to try to find her past, I guess, he gets beaten in an alley with people saying basically, stop looking. What does that reveal to us about Raphael?
I think scene two's got the touch that I'm thinking about, where
Yeah.
the feel, because it's kind of a thread for him too, where it was the fear of also being left. Like this is a big, like showing the
Yeah.
photo and saying that like it's not gonna be different.
Yeah.
Like that was maybe more of a fear of her being like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm actually not connected to you by blood right now, so maybe
Yeah.
I could just, maybe you'll lose that little bit of siblingness, whether it's a
Yeah.
hurtful thing but for her, maybe she
Yeah.
doesn't want to know this, or I think because this is not a I'm gonna go ahead and say that Noelle is not a real person in real life.
Yeah.
In Raphael's, Noelle's like
Yeah.
an insert for his complicated feelings about responsibility with like being
Mm.
a parent, being a brother, being a sibling, being
Mm-hmm.
something to someone,
Mm-hmm.
and wanting to protect. So I think Raphael reveals about himself that he has this real big fear of putting himself out there to people he loves, for fear that they will literally just reject that or leave him alone. Like you mentioned a fear of
Yeah.
that is like there a lot. So I think it is the,
Yeah.
don't know a concise way of saying that, but
Yeah.
definitely wish the optimism of him getting
Yeah.
himself for an insert character to show the
Yeah.
thing, something that he is fearful of doing, for the fact that, and then
Yeah.
she's still his sister. She does
Yeah.
walk away. She does not take it as amazingly, but she does still come back to him and call him later, because that was what he was waiting for that whole time. Those whole 4 hours,
Yeah.
6 hours from that phone call, just something
Yeah.
that we're still good, right? And I think
Yeah.
that's something that Raphael is scared about in his own personal life.
Yeah. And then chapter 4, our climax, where Ralph confronts his mother on the phone, calls her, tells her everything, and she makes a good show of sort of being sorry, and then she calls his sister to undermine him using his past, right, his problems with addiction, to undermine that relationship, and revealing herself to have not been as different as he would have hoped. And then the place that they stayed in, burning him real, getting far because he turned off the alarms, some ways his fault, but then him deciding to let it all burn, and that being a way to start a new life for him and get his sister, because CalArts is expensive, some of that tuition
Yeah.
money, to get there. What in here, what part of that chapter revealed something about our author Raphael?
I think a big part of it, especially with the first two scenes connecting so well with the mom, I think the it's very easy for the character of Ralph, I think, to get stuck in this. He confronted the mom, she apologized, it maybe felt good for a second, but then immediately you get the shot chaser of
Yeah.
the whole different call, completely switching up, talking to the sister about that. I
Yeah.
think that as nasty as that was for the character, I think Raphael finds that to be freeing.
Mm,
Because while it hurts, that is an absolute band-aid ripoff. That is not sitting for 5 or 6 years for this revelation. That is like getting it
yeah.
almost immediately, to know that like, hey, like you did the thing that was good for your heart, and then they did the thing that you thought was good for their heart, and then they immediately showed you where their heart was.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is as painful and as hurtful as that is. I think Raphael, and even myself, I think that that's freeing to an
Yeah.
extent. It's not good to be in. I
Yeah.
don't wish that on anyone, but it
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
freeing to know So I think Raphael kind of gave
So you
away
no
his
longer have
again.
any illusions, right?
Yeah, I
Yep.
think the fear of, but I also hope that I think that helped him put it in the past to
Yeah.
allow him to just be like, let's burn this fucker down.
Yeah. 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 But that says something about his life, though. Has he been betrayed by someone? It says that there's something. He's got this fear of violence, kind of like within a family, a fear of being left by family.
Mm-hmm.
And clearly he's got this feeling of being disappointing family members or somehow failing. So that feels very specific, right? It, like in the same way that the
Yeah,
walking into like the waking to the smell of burning lovers feels very specific. Having this person who sort of basically sort of made amends and then turned around, right? And undermined that, showing themselves to be a bit more concerned about status or protecting their current state. Feels like that something like that might have happened to him, perhaps,
yeah,
or
yeah.
something along those lines.
Yeah, I think that's another direct thing from would be
Yeah,
probably from his life where you can pull on that from there because a lot of it is like the situation that he's in is not really relevant to his personal life, like, but
yeah,
he's able to use the Noel and Margot as nice set pieces in this story to help him kind of break through some of that because I think that is true. Like with how consistent it is throughout the story,
yeah,
he is the fear of that betrayal. Yeah.
yeah,
No, I agree. I agree.
yeah. Uh, the last question for you then is: what did this story mean to Raphael? Because he finished it
Yeah.
for NaNoWriMo. You know, I don't know
Okay,
where it was when it
what did it mean? What did it mean? I don't have to pull a card this time, so I don't know what it means.
was.
Um, hmm. I think it also meant the same thing for him. A, a hope for the future. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the fact that he doesn't have someone like he would love to be Noel to an
Yeah,
extent. Like he
yeah,
doesn't have someone like so being able to write
yeah,
difficulties for Noelle but still protect her and feeling like
yeah,
so he is as Ralph protecting her so he feels
yeah,
protective but he's also putting her in
yeah,
situations where she feels like she's protected so both characters get
yeah,
something out of that so I think he
yeah,
gets to feel like he has some kind of control over not only his situation but someone or anyone if there was someone in his life that he cared for that he would be able to maybe steer or control that in that direction so having the Ralph antagonistic at first or this
yeah,
thing like because it does seem like we're doing malicious like a lot of this stuff is this
yeah,
is a bummer this is a bummer
yeah,
stuff but it's setting up some content for him some stuff for
yeah,
him to pull on so like
yeah,
up front it sounds like he's trying to hurt you or he's setting up you up for a bad
yeah,
life
yeah,
and so I think like part of that was him real as the character was taking control of it the other way him
yeah,
realizing that he is also playing with lives as well
yeah,
so
yeah,
I think it did affect the way the story kind of shifted over that because I don't know what I think it wasn't until the second exposition phase where I
yeah,
started to figure out where I was gonna like roughly like kind of where things were shaping up. But
yeah,
it's without talking too much about like the meta of the game too. It's really awesome with the way you set this up with the notes and everything. So you could actually kind of go through the beat and connect it
yeah.
like that because that is I was worried when I was looking at the original game. I'm like I am not going to remember what every single thing means. And this is really well done. So I think I got away from it there. I complimented you while
Go.
also giving you an answer. So take that.
Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. Uh, in which case, now it's my turn to finish it as the
Oh,
character.
oh,
I meet my author. Ralph meets Raphael, and Raphael is no longer in control of this story. And there are two sentences: you say your piece, you act without mercy, and I can defy one of them. I will first say my piece, and then I will defy I act without mercy. You are you still in that room with the computer? Or are you somewhere else right now? Are you in a cafe right now having something to drink, tea, coffee? You wrote this story. And I can see from that final card that you had great success. Must have done very well for you. Sounds like it sold well. You're probably on Book Talk or something like this, and people are talking about it. I imagine everyone's talking about it like a sort of like a new coming of age story, a story of the generation. It says so much about what it's like to be Gen Z, I guess. I suppose you're what? This generation's Reality Bites or Garden State, whatever your thing might be. That makes sense. That makes sense. I can see it. I bet there's going to be a movie, right? I don't know who the actors are going to be. Some young Gen Z folks will be me, I guess. I don't know who they'll cast, but yeah, you live in LA, right? Yeah, I knew it. And I imagine you'll probably get some kind of I have no idea what they're going to do to your story, by the way, but yeah, I guess I can see it. You know what though? I'm happy for you. I'm I'm glad that that this is a success for you. I was worried actually. Look, I'll be honest. I was actually very mad at you for a while. I didn't understand what you were doing. I didn't understand. I felt like you were threatening me. It felt like you were just not letting me be who I wanted to be. Like you, like, and it just, I only had my sister, you know, and it just felt like you were going to take her away too. And I didn't want that. And it felt like you were just doing it. I don't know why you were doing it because I don't know. I sort of thought you were a petty tyrant. Sorry. Um, but I get it. I understand, right? It's not great this moment, the economy and all the things. And I guess you've had a lot of difficulties in your life with trust, I guess, which is probably why I didn't trust you either, to be honest. It's probably bleed from you into me. But, it turned out okay in the end, right? I did trust you and you didn't screw me over, right? Which means you can trust people too. Um, uh, I don't know if you're going to take advice from me because I'm a fictional character in your book, which is going to be optioned to be a movie. Uh, I probably not Emma Stone, right? Probably not. I don't know. Hey, maybe you could get like Selena Gomez to be Noelle. That'd be cool. I know she can act. She was in Disney stuff, right? Um, I'm going to defy that you act without mercy, and I'm going to act with kindness.
Ooh.
Um, I don't think you've had a lot of money in your life, and I don't think you've had a lot of all those things that people want, right? Those things, the movies, books. Also, you're writing a book, which means you're a nerd. You know that, right? So, uh, I mean, um, don't let them change you because you may not have come from the place that you wanted to come from, and you may not have gone to a prep school or anything like that, and going to be you're going to be in the same circles as some of those people that you might have seen when you were in school who didn't look well on you when you were growing up. But don't let them change you and don't feel bad about where you came from. Where you came from is sort of where I came from, I guess, a little bit at least. Less bad. There were fewer fires. Um, but you you're okay and you don't be ashamed and don't let them, I guess, hold on to Noelle, me, the boat. You don't need to be like that guy who was Noelle's dad. You didn't write it in the book, but I know you know it's true, right? He never respected Margot. And you don't need his approval at all because he's meaningless. That's why you didn't put him in the book, really. So you're going to be okay. Just maybe be nicer to me next time.
Oh, that's great. Ah.
And that's Death of the Author played with 2 people.
This game is awesome. I love that. Like, and if you like, I always, this is, so I'm a rehearsal type of person. I'm okay with improv, but I really I love my rehearsal. I love finding the little nooks and crannies and spaces in the so I'm a very rehearsal person. So I love, like, to the point where, like, sometimes I like to play a game before I play a game. So this is this is a like, I can already, when I play a game like this, which is seemingly a little bit more complex, but it's really fairly simple. You could do so much with this. And like, I'm already thinking of like what I would do as an author another time, or another type of story. And one of the things that was noted, this could be like any medium. So if you agree on something, like, hey, let's do an audio book, or let's do it. So then you have to color the scenes as if it was an audio book. You hear the sound of it. Yeah. You have to do like, it's more of a visual medium, more of a. There's a lot of different
soap opera,
different ways to play this. Yeah, soap opera. That could be really fun. This wouldn't necessarily. This didn't have to. There's no tone. It's not locked into a certain tone or anything.
Yeah. Or like maybe like one of those police procedurals, you know what I mean? Like, or like a Peak TV where like you've got the anti-hero and maybe the anti-hero's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Right. Or you could even do something like a children's book.
Yes.
Right.
Ooh.
That's kind of right. How cool would that be?
And then I was just thinking, like, the self character, the main character doesn't even necessarily have to be a protagonist. Like, be an antagonist. It could be there's plenty of different things for this. Like, the foe could be the good guy, for the lack of a better term, the face for that.
It says under self, it says you, the protagonist, antagonist, or side character, right? Like, you could end up being like the side character in some larger story that's like, no, hold on, author, I'm going to be more important in this story than you've given me space for.
That's meat on those bones. I like that.
Right?
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, this is fantastic. This is Trooper, you did so much work to this, like, I love what you have set up here. I appreciate what you've done. You were great. You were a great character for me to torment on and off as my internet and my computer allowed me to.
Also, thank you for being a trooper and sticking out even with internet problems. Oh, can I say one thing I thought was really interesting? I really loved how how by the time we got to like the last 2 chapters, I started forgetting that I was being written by an author, and I was like, oh wait, no, this is being. It was that was like kind of the cool
to play
switch
that.
Where, yeah. Because at first I realized I was being written by an author. I was like, I don't like it. And then I was like, what are you trying to do? What are you doing? And then all of a sudden I was like, oh yeah. Then my mom was like, wait, right? And that kind of swap where all of a sudden I just became, and it feels to me like, in my mind, it's because Rafi becomes a better writer, right? He's been like, who knows how many months and months and weeks he's spending writing this, right? And as he's writing more and more, he gets more subtle and more smooth, and he gets better at writing, right? And so then the main character sees the seams less, and it just becomes a bit more seamless for the character, right?
Oh, I like that. Yeah. That's the boundaries are not there. You just kind of walk from space. It feels real. That's good. That's a really, and also, like, think about this as if you're doing another duet version of this, like, if because the character could grow increasingly more paranoid instead of like getting distracted by it, or getting like how much is working directly against how much, like, how would it be to have a protagonist actually stopping you at every possible point? And
Right?
what if I reacted even more? There's so
Yeah.
many things you can do here. You can even use this as a writing prompt for your own story.
Yep.
Just like here's like some
So
basic writing stuff.
so here's something I think is really cool for me, right? So the game is a solo game, but can be done also with two people instead. And it's sort of written in like the base rules are for solo, and then there's like a section about if you're going to go duo, add these rules. And I actually really love it duo because you get this really interesting interplay. Because if you're doing it solo, you play the character and you have to imagine what the author is about. But with this one, we have an author, right? And you actually get to have that interplay where like I don't know what you're thinking and you don't know what I'm thinking and I don't know what you're going to do and I'm like, "Oh, and you don't know if I'm going to use my defy or my reverse and like how's that?" Like there's something really interesting about having the author and the character be separate people that those are my feelings about that. I loved that. I loved that moment. It was around chapter 3, right? It was around chapter 3. Was it chapter 3? Let me look, because we can just look now. Yeah, it was around chapter 3 when the turn started happening in the rising action, where I was like, I will reverse now, or I'll, defy now. And you're like, good, that was a good choice. And I was like, oh, maybe you're not out to get me. Okay. Right. Like it was this like kind of like really interesting moment where like, and by me, I mean my character, right? Ralph, not me, Trooper, who I just adore you. And I knew we were all here together. But there's something really interesting about how here we are. And I was like, oh, you're giving me a little bit of agency. Is this a trap? No, it's not. Oh, okay. Right. So there's some really, really interesting moments there right around like the end of chapter 3 where the relationship between the reversal and the defiance became a bit more mutual. It felt.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Good game. This is a good game. I always am grateful for you introducing me to good games that I've never heard of before.
Oh, we have a comment. A game of one's own podcast did one where the novel character is a vampire hunter. Oh, House of Dreams, that's so cool.
That sounds awesome.
Nice. Yeah.
Oh,
Was that a solo or duo? Yeah, let me know. Was that a House of Dreams? Was that solo or duo? And Other Doc says, "Ooh, I wonder if you could have the focus character be from a previous book by the same author, showing up unbidden because the author is trying not to keep writing about them but can't resist." Oh yeah.
My gosh, that is
absolutely.
Really good idea. Also, like the shout out for the Stranger Than Fiction. It's like Stranger Than Fiction role playing game. That's a fun way of putting that.
Oh, you know what else I was thinking about? I was thinking about, you know how Arthur Conan Doyle got so upset with everybody wanting Sherlock Holmes only, so decided to kill Sherlock Holmes off and then wasn't allowed to? That would be interesting. If you're this character, like a Sherlock Holmes or a Miss Marple or whatever, and you realize that your author is planning to kill you off by the end of the book, and you're like, oh, no. Oh, no, I cannot have this, right? Like, that's also interesting, that moment when you realize that, like, your author might be trying to kill you off at this point in time. And
yeah, oh, that's so good. Then you have to. Then you really have to use your. It's gonna be like luck of the draw, and then you have to use your reversals and defiances really, really carefully.
Yeah, I also think going back to the very beginning when we made our the character spread, if y'all remember, we have the moon, who's the protagonist, the self, the sun, who is the sister Noelle, and then the foe, who's the hermit, Margot, the mom. What I thought was so interesting about this, I think this is interesting, right? Because both Ralph and Noelle are in reverse, right? So they are tied to each other in that way, like they are linked, right? With Margot being upright, sort of being separate. And I imagine now Margot's got the mom, she's upright, upstanding, blah, blah, blah. But there's something really interesting about the moon and the sun. If you think about this in terms of like astrology, right? Your sun sign and your moon sign are both aspects of yourself. So I think there's something really interesting about both Noelle and Ralph being aspects of Raphael, both of them really being him in some way, right? That he's sort of working through both of these kinds of different sides of the self. I think that was really cool. I like how the spread comes out. I also think it's really neat the ways in which, as the character, there's a lot of stuff that I didn't know yet. Like, I was like, I have to see what the author does, who they make me, how how they have this play out, and I can say something about it, but I ultimately have to see what happens, and then I can respond. There was something very cool about that back and forth, which I really, really liked. Yeah. A lot.
I keep thinking about
What
all
about
of
you?
the possibilities in this game.
Mm.
Sorry, like there's I'm reading through it again.
Yeah.
I love it. Like I love the idea of picking like this is not even a good bit. But I was like, okay, I could pick. So the author is oh no, hold on. You can actually you can pick a character from a book and an actual author to play too, a real author.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
you in theory could do this and try to do
Yeah.
your own story in there, which would really
Yeah.
piss off Anne Rice.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
I think
Yes.
I kind of like it where the foe is Anne Rice's litigiousness over fan fiction,
Oh
and
my gosh.
yeah, like I have I have a bunch of things swirling in my head. This is a really cool game. So I'm going to stop letting my brain get distracted and just say, Trooper, this ruled. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you so much for playing this part so well. Gave me a lot to work with when I was also confused about what I was going to be doing here. So this is great. You made another great environment to come in and play a game that I've never played before, which is something that I get nervous about. But this is so fun.
And the chat wants us to do this again with the roles reversed in the summer. So just so you know, that's what they want.
I'll do that in a heartbeat.
This was pretty amazing. I would love to see all the ways this can play out. And I like video, film, audiobook, just, because the thing is, play actors with an actor with their character that they're going to play in, right? Like maybe you're playing Death of a Salesman or something, right? Or I don't know, Sunset Boulevard. You know what I mean? Like, and like, because I personally tend to think that actors are also authors of the characters that they're playing. So that gives a slightly different twist on author character, which again, super interesting. Okay, I've got to do our outro. So, bestest Markus of all time. Say who you are, where we can find you, what you're up to, anything you want to plug, and give some love. This is based on the game. This game here by Sam Lee was based on another game, a solo game called Anamnesis. Anamnesis. I'm gonna have to check it out and find out what that game is about. But yeah, so give some love.
Yeah. Thank you to everyone joining us on this channel. It was awesome to see your word faces in chat and hear all your awesome thoughts about this. I think that's one of the things I love coming onto this channel is the community here who always has some great ideas, great thoughts, or at the very least an interesting direction to nudge the characters into, even if it's just speculatively. I love that stuff. My name is Markus Mays. Mays like pronounced like the thing that you could put stuff in and no one could find, or Willie Mays. That's not really an intro. I don't want you to follow me on social media because I don't use it very much. But if you do, you can follow me on Instagram, I guess, but I'm probably going to delete that. Just go out there and remember the world is a messy, gross, bacteria-ridden place, and that we are all very lucky to be at the right temperature that we can survive and thrive as best as we can. Be good to each other, treat each other as well as you can, and really fucking remember, have some empathy for each other. Gosh, please. That's all. I got nothing to plug. I just want everyone to go out there and be nice to someone. Not be nice to someone, be fucking good to someone. Not just nice, be good to people.
Yeah.
Okay, I got nothing. I got nothing else.
You do have one more thing, though. I forgot. There's one thing we need.
Okay.
It's not written anywhere, but I know that I need it now. What is the title of your book? What is the title of Raphael's book?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Uh-huh. That needs to happen.
The Fool in the World.
The Fool in the World. Ooh, nice.
I didn't say that because I drew two cards, the Fool and the World card. So I pulled two tarot cards and that's what came up.
The Fool in the World. I'm going to just write that down. And I feel like Raphael would totally write a book called The Fool in the World. Okay, I do have a second question, though.
Go ahead.
And this question can also go for chat. Who's cast in the movie version of this book?
I love the I want to while chat's answering this, I want to shout out, I love the Reality Bites reference because that also featured the great recasting, the great recutting, and of whatever the artistic vision of Winona Ryder's character is.
Yes.
That's great. That's
Yes.
great. Thank
Was
you for
thinking
bringing
about
that
it.
up.
You know, it's like what? It's like Reality Bites, Garden State. I think that was the
Garden State,
millennial
yeah.
one, right? And I don't know what the Gen Z movie is going to be with
It's like
their movie with the
there's
soundtrack's going to be. It's got to be a movie with the soundtrack. That's like really
it's
important.
a movie with the
right?
soundtrack. It really is. That's the key thing. Okay, so I mean,
Krellin says a bunch of
I
young unknowns, either that or Tom Holland and Zendaya because they're in everything these days, which also would make sense.
I actually like the idea of Winona for Margot. I'm gonna take that one too. That one that sounds like good casting for me.
Yeah, I agree.
That's
Yeah.
okay, so who would play? I love the bunch of young unknowns. You know who I would love to play the part? I like
Tell me.
there's an actor who I really like. I think he's already in one big movie and a couple of he's in a couple big movies, but he's not really popped off to the point where people know his name. His name's Mike Feist.
Okay.
He was in the Spielberg's remake of West Side Story, and he
Okay.
was in Challengers most famously recently. But he is a really good actor. I really like him, but I don't necessarily want him as the lead. There we go. Okay, hold on. House of Dreams. That's the one. Justice Smith. I want Justice Smith. I love Justice Smith.
Yeah.
Give me
Yeah,
Justice
yeah,
Smith.
yeah.
He almost made the second Jurassic World somewhat partially watchable. Almost.
Yeah,
And that movie's so great for him because he's in
Yeah.
that movie so little, and it's such a bad movie that you could be like, oh, was Justice Smith in that? Because you don't have to think about, oh, it was bad. No, he's fine. He's untouchable. Let him just keep doing things. I want him to keep shining. Like, he was even good in Detective Pikachu. He's doing good work. Go give him parts. He gets the part in my movie. If I get me saying it, he gets the part in my movie.
Okay.
Justice Smith. House of Dreams.
Done.
You got me up. You got me heated now. I want Justice Smith.
Done. I feel like Ethan Hawke would be a really great deadbeat dad.
Yes.
To revisit our Reality Bites, because like who's seen him anywhere and people are like, what? Yes. That's
I love that.
I feel like yeah, I think Ethan Hawke would be a good deadbeat dad. Rich dad, you need somebody who's like smug and rich, you know what I mean? Somebody
I've been seeing a lot of Don Johnson's face on TV recently, in movies and things. So I just kind of like he's got a good looking like a rich guy kind of face. But
yeah.
I don't know. I think we can do better. I think we can do better.
Yeah. Somebody punchable, you know what I mean? Somebody
well, Cinema's
Rob
most
Lowe,
punchable
maybe.
faces. Oh, Rob Lowe, that's a very punchable face. I was thinking of Cinema's great punchable faces like Jared Leto, Rob Lowe. Very good faces. Like Leto's a little too for being like I think 57 years old. Leto's a little too young looking for the part, but
that's a little disturbing that he's 57 years old, but that's fine.
He's not being 57, but he's like 54. I think it's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I just think that's
53.
That'll be really so exciting. So y'all, we did not get any tips or bits coming in today, so no, I have no messages to read out, but I want to thank you all for being here. I'm troopersjp. I'm gonna say you can find me. Today is Friday? So tomorrow at noon, I'll be playing Hitman on the PS4, so you can hang out here with me noon Eastern. And then on Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. on Wandering DM's channel will be the finale of Warhammer 40k, where I'm a tax collector. And then, Thursday we'll be playing Disco Elysium, which we will finish this year. And
Sure.
I mean, if I say it, it might happen.
It's okay. You should see how I played that game my first time the way through. I took me forever. Not you forever, but it took me forever.
Oh no. I mean, my version of forever is like multiple years because I spend all the time chatting. But I will finish it because Kim Kitsuragi is my best buddy. He actually likes me. Yeah, and I'm going to make sure, look, okay, side note, me playing Disco Elysium is sort of like this game, Death of the Author, because I'm spending a lot of time trying to make sure that my character, Harry, does not die of liver failure when he's got other voices telling him to die of liver failure. I'm keep trying. I'm like, come on, Harry, don't make bad choices. I'm working really hard on this one, which you could have an author who's trying to stop a character who's very self-destructive. That would be like a whole reverse dynamic.
The character could be like the author could be losing track of the character could be losing track of himself, the author trying to get the character back on track while the character actually falling down a deeper pit than even the author thought. That's another way to do this.
So good. So good. And so that's where you can find me. And I get to give my love now. So my love is to, of course, I want to say thank you, Sam Lee, for the game. Thank you very much for it. And I also want to give my love to Markus, who so many people go for the fantastical in a way that ignores the human and the humane and just like feelings. There's a lot of like, there are those people I've heard who say, oh, that RPG doesn't let you be an elf or whatever. Like, oh, I'm not going to play it because why would I ever want to be a human? Humans are boring. The last thing I ever want to do is play a human. And that always makes me a little sad. You know what I mean? Because I think humans are pretty cool. And yeah, right. And I love Markus for being a person who is not afraid of being human. And there's nobody else I would rather play a game set in a real world, one of the many real worlds, than Markus, because of his humanity and his kindness, and because he knows his David Lynch, really. That's one of the things. So with all of that, Trooper. I want to... Yes. And thank you, chat. Thank you for being here, and we're going to go. I am going to do a quick check to see if there's anybody to raid, and if there is someone to raid, then I will raid them, but let me just see first if there are raidable people that I want to go and give big raids to. We have got Cyber Nation Uncensored is up, and I have not raided them recently, so we're going to go and give them a raid. Please remember our raid command if you would like to do this. And kiss from a rose, Markus. Kiss from a rose. Everybody. I will catch you all on the flip side. Thank you, and thank you, Markus, for saying yes. And take care of yourselves, everybody, and be good to each other. Bye.